Disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. Don't sue us. Disclaimer. Outlaw Radio. Well,
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our bit.
Republic. I like this sentiment. It means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
Are you ready to be who you are?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hood, letting out your experience.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over it.
You meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're gonna have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I decline to be an outlaw.
hey, a reminder, folks, the Outlaw Radio Network is a bunch of friends talking politics, current events, sports, and anything else that interests us. Political correctness is not allowed. Adult topics will be discussed. And on the screaming side, adult language will be used. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. A reminder that the views expressed during tonight's show do not necessarily reflect the views of our sponsors, station management, our guests, or each other, or maybe they do. Most importantly, don't sue us. And now, happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear boss baby. Woo! Happy birthday to you.
man.
Happy birthday, Boss Baby. Live
That's
in,
what you guys got me on here for?
Hold on, her mic's not on. Hello, Boss Baby.
Am I here now?
Yes, you're here now. Happy birthday, you beautiful soul.
Thanks. That's what you guys got me on here for?
Yes.
I could have been like sleeping in bed by now.
Or we could sing you a happy birthday song. So happy birthday, Boss Baby.
Well, thanks.
You look wonderful, by the way. You don't look a year older. You still look like you're 19 years old.
Oh, God.
All the comments are coming in from the chat. All the happy birthdays.
Please don't call Kevin God. It really doesn't work out.
Please don't call me God. Please don't do that.
He prefers my Lord.
It's good to see you, Boss Baby. We love you. Are you going to hang on with it? We have Frank on hold. Frank Aquila, author of the book Sarah Palin, I Don't Know We're on Hold. He'll join us in just a second to break down some of the national stuff, including what Joe Biden did mere hours ago.
Right?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Well, hopefully Frank's still on after that singing.
Yeah, I can hang on for a bit.
Okay. Do you want to be on with Frank, or do you want us to put you in the background and we'll bring you back after Frank?
Do it after Frank.
Okay. All right. We're going to put you back in the background. There goes Boss Baby. Happy birthday, Boss Baby. Finally 21, legally able to make it into the bar. Finally, not to say she's never been in a bar before, but now she's finally legal. So happy birthday, Boss Baby. Again, in just a moment, Frank Aquila, K-Dog, Black Tom, Lori. Paul will be here momentarily. He's on his way in. Phil running the boards. DJD is around here somewhere. No word from Trojo. There's a shocker. Maybe he'll join us. Maybe he won't. Who knows?
I keep checking for a short message.
Yeah. I think the chances are small that he's going to join us tonight.
Waka waka.
I think there's a tiny possibility that he might arrive.
Wah, wah, wah.
Or his efforts tonight may just come up short. So we'll just
I need
see.
a penny whistle.
A what?
A penny whistle.
What is a penny whistle?
It makes that little.
Oh, it's like a slide whistle.
Yeah.
Are those
penny
called
whistle,
penny
slide
whistles?
whistle. I've always heard it as a penny whistle.
Hey, so I went to the Nutcracker last night. We'll talk about this more later, but guess who I ran into? I ran into David Nelson, editor-in-chief of the Kitsap Sun at the Nutcracker last night at Birmingham High School.
Isn't he like the one domestic employee left?
Well, they got two.
Oh, okay.
But it was good to see him. I love David Nelson. I always poke fun at the Sun, but the issues at the Sun, let me just be clear, are not David's fault. He didn't bring this up, by the way. This is just me. They're not David's fault, right? You work with what the parent company gives you, and David is trying to make soup out of rocks and water. Okay, so I love David Nelson. I like the staff down there, but the Gannett, who owns the paper, they wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And so they're wasting good talent. They've lost good talent in Josh Farley, but it was nice to see David Nelson. I do like the guy. Contrary to all the crap I talk about, the Sun, meaning Gannett. All right. However, let us go to the phone lines because some interesting things transpired nationally. I hadn't expected to discuss this with Frank, but Frank Aquila, author of the book Sarah Palin, Out of Nowhere, longest contributing guest of the show, good friend of the show, wonderful human being. Merry Christmas time there, Frank. Hello, Frank.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Kevin, and to everybody else. And Kevin, you have a lot of charisma and charm about you.
Well, thanks, buddy. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me in 2024, really. How you been? How's life in the People's Republic of California?
Well, you know what? The Christmas season is always good. You can't destroy Christmas season. It's just lovely, just seeing all the lights up and people going out and singing Christmas carols already. So it's always great right around Christmas.
Yeah, amen to that, man. Amen to that. They're for the listeners that are local to our local broadcast position, the Royalwood Courthouse is open. So if you've never been to Royalwood, Frank, let me tell you about Royalwood Court before we get to politics. It is a house, just a regular dude's house.
Royalwood Court's a road.
Well, I'm talking about a specific house on Royalwood Court.
Right. Just make sure everyone knows that.
God bless you, Tom. Anyway, there's a dude with a house on Royalwood Court, and he decorates his house for the holidays, but it's unlike any house I've ever been to. You actually park your car, you walk through his front yard, to walk through his side yard, to walk through his backyard. He has animatronics. He has lights that match the music. He has 1,000 like plastic Santa Clauses. He's got a bonfire, a projection movie screen.
There's an army of elves.
There's an army of elves. It is quite possibly the greatest Christmas house I've ever seen in my entire life. So I don't know if you got something like that down there, Frank, in Manteca, but if you ever come up here during the holidays, I'll be sure to take you out and show you. It's amazing.
You know what's funny about you mentioned something like that, Kevin. There's actually been some places that were all decked out a whole street where everybody had everything lit up. And because all the electricity cost, you actually see less and less of that now. But I do know there was one person that actually had a box out in front asking for donations for the electricity bill, just because everything's just so astronomical as far as energy cost is concerned. So I wonder if the guy that over there on that court, if he actually is, he has a donation box, just because from everything you described, he's having to pay enormous amount of cost just to put that on.
I'm sure he is. Yeah. And he runs it every single night till 10 o'clock, weekdays, weekends, everything. He'll have it through the holidays, all that. So I don't think he had a donation box out. Maybe some of the people that are in our chat, let me know if there's a donation box. I didn't think I saw one last year. Also, Philip's wife is in the chat, and I want to know why Philip's wife hates me. That's what I want to know, because Phil said that you were not a fan of K-Dog and did not want to introduce him to any of your friends. That's what Phil said before the show tonight. All right, Paul's joining us in studio as well. Frank, let's get to the breaking news of the day. I don't think we expected to see this, at least not now, although announcing it on a holiday weekend, I guess, is probably the best time to hope that it goes by unnoticed. Joe Biden went against repeated promises he made, both before and after he dropped out of the presidential race, that he was not going to pardon Hunter. And today he gave him a full and unconditional pardon. What do you think?
Yeah, it was expected. It was something that, Joe Biden saying he wasn't going to. All along he was going to. Joe Biden was the big guy, and Joe Biden actually should have been involved in his arrest as well. Technically, they were doing some sort of money laundering. They were doing all kinds of corrupt stuff, and really they tried to get away from everything else that Hunter was involved in, and they got him on the minor stuff. But still, it was obvious that Joe was going to go ahead and pardon him.
Yeah.
And like you said, he did it on a time really where people may not be paying attention as much on the Thanksgiving weekend. But really, this is pretty big news. It's the first time a president ever pardoned his son.
Yeah.
And who knows? It might get down to the point. You saw everything that they've done to Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to indict one of President Trump's sons. And where maybe President Trump has to ask for a pardon for one of his sons. Just the lunacy of what they did to President Trump. He had multiple indictments of stuff that, if he was a Democrat, that would never have happened.
The most important part to this is the dates that are included. So not only has he pardoned him for everything he's been charged with, but he's basically granted him like blanket immunity from anything federal between January 1, 2014 and December 1, 2024. So anything that could have been found, any charges that could have been forthcoming about Hunter's relationship with Burisma. Oh, there's a dog in here. Like I felt something rub against my leg and it's a dog. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, it's a dog. It
was not me.
It is Frank. He basically gave him the out clause. Anything you might have done, from prostitutes to drugs and prostitutes to illegal dealings with the Ukrainians, to Burisma, to tax evasion, to federal gun charges. Hunter literally is off scot-free. Nothing from the last 10 years can be used against him.
Yes, that's the full definition of white privilege right there. If you want to look at it like that.
Yeah, some white privilege. Biden giving us a TED Talk on what white privilege looks like. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the show, buddy. Good to see you. So does this... Is there any backlash on Biden for this? And does it really matter? I mean, he's not. He's done in office in a little over a month and a half. Politically he's done. Is there any kind of backlash that comes out of this, or is this basically the bookend to his presidency?
It's the bookend. I mean, there's not going to be any backlash at all. I mean, there'll be people talking about it and how that he is hypocritical from the get-go, and there was white privilege in that one sense. But you know what? I don't think Biden even cares. I mean, he's just going to go ahead and he's going to give his presidential pardons to his political friends and buddies. And I think I think you're going to see some pardons when Trump gets in there. As soon as he gets in there, you have these J6 prisoners that were basically political prisoners, I should say. A lot of these people got charged just for being at the Capitol, as we've seen in videos going back to January 6th from 4 years ago. President Trump, they always, that's the deception of the media. They try to say that he incited these people to go in, and where these people are already going in before President Trump was telling his crowd peacefully and patriotically, to protest. But they deceptively leave that part out. They really want to make President Trump look bad.
Yep.
And the J6 committee withheld evidence. They went ahead and destroyed the evidence. The President Trump had announced that he wanted to go ahead and offer National Guard troops, and it was denied by Pelosi, denied by Mayor Bowser. It was a complete setup to really orchestrate. You had Antifa dressed up as Trump supporters. You had Rayettes yelling, going to the Capitol. You had police officers waving these people in the Capitol. And so a lot of these people, they got prosecuted, and for 4 years sitting in jail, where they were charged with a different type of prosecution. They were more charged as if they were terrorists. And these people need to be released. And I think President Trump's going to really look at all these people that did get charged, and these political prisoners should be released. It's very sad. There's two types of justice systems, and how people can actually be really have their whole life destroyed, just for walking into the Capitol, as some did, even some grandmothers. And these people were literally arrested just for walking in when they were waved in, essentially and it's on video. They were waved in, so it's very sad.
Well, here's the big difference to me, though, Frank, is that Trump from day one basically said he was going to pardon him. Like, Trump owned it in the beginning, and when he ran for president, he said, by the way, when I get elected, I'm going to pardon a lot of these January 6 guys. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Joe Biden said, I'm not going to pardon my son. I'm not going to pardon my son. I'm not going to pardon my son. Oh, guess what? I just pardoned my son. It is,
I mean, he should have said, pardon me.
It's very objective by your analysis of that, Kevin. That's very true. I mean, that's you can't get more clear than that. I mean, yeah, exactly what Joe Biden said he was not going to do, he did, and President Trump has been, hey, he's promises made, promises kept.
Do you guys have any other questions with Frank about the Biden pardon thing? Because I have another topic I want to bring up with Frank, but I don't want to steamroll you guys.
Yeah, well, only thing I really wanted to say about it, and I don't know if Frank may agree or blast me on this. I'm not sure.
Hi, Paul.
I'm talking.
You look really, really sexy in that, whatever that is you're wearing.
Yeah. Well, I got to promote the new business, man. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
is it called Paul's Balls?
What?
Go ahead. Sorry. It's a paintball. Frank, Paul just opened a paintball facility.
Oh Lord!
And I think he's calling it Paul's Balls. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Paul.
that's what. Well, we got a bunch of cops coming in for a fundraiser. We're calling it Pop a Cop. But anyway, back to what I was asking. So my thought process here, Frank, was that And my wife immediately, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he did that." It's and I'm like, "Look, every president has the right to do this, and they do it. They do it a lot of times, especially right before they leave office." But here's the thing: he acknowledges in the White House official statement this evening that his son is unfairly prosecuted by the Department of Justice. And I don't know how many other people agree, but I felt that he was as well. I thought that it was pretty cheap, pretty cheesy. But I also understood why they were going after him. And I understood why certain Republican politicians were really pushing the button. And it was simply because of what was being done to former President Trump. And I think that there were even rumblings that Trump himself had suggested he might pardon Hunter. And I think of all people, Trump recognizes it, right? And it was like, this dude is really getting a raw deal, right? And I think Hunter was. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to suggest that there weren't a whole lot of other issues there, whether it was Burisma, Ukraine, China, or whatever, and a lot of money maybe changing hands there in that family. But on those particular issues, right, he did pay back his back taxes, regardless if somebody else paid them for him. It doesn't matter. They got paid back, right? The IRS doesn't care who cuts that check, do they, Kevin?
No, they do not.
Right.
As long as that check doesn't bounce.
Right. So his back taxes got paid back for him. Apparently, he's an amazing artist. I mean, just a very small list of people that will buy his paintings. But nonetheless, I mean, he had paid it back. He was in the midst of a drug addiction when he clearly tried to purchase a firearm while checking the wrong box by mistake while high on cocaine and buying a gun.
Is that a bad idea?
But but the truth does remain that very few people are prosecuted under that. Very, very few, which kind of surprised me because I looked it up when the accusation was made. Nobody gets prosecuted for this. Okay, actually, they were a little bit right. Very, very few people get prosecuted for it. But I thought it was pretty clear case of a politically motivated prosecution of Hunter. But I felt that this was really good of Biden to come out and do it in this way, because the way he made the statement now allows President Trump to come out and say, look, even Joe Biden agrees. The Department of Justice politically prosecutes people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Frank?
That is a very good analysis as well. I mean, but I think they really, there was a lot of things they could have prosecuted Hunter Biden for, and it was stonewalled by Merrick Garland. And that was the frustration. They let the statute of limitations run out on all kinds of stuff.
You bet, for sure.
So I mean, they allowed the prosecution to go forward. Really, I think it was kind of maybe even in symbolism, basically saying, "Hey, we're prosecuting Trump, so we're prosecuting Joe Biden here." And all along, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to go ahead and pardon him anyways. They had, Biden has the bully pulpit. So, I mean, they tried to take that argument away that, hey, we're going after Trump, but we're going after Biden's son. And again, they went ahead and they allowed many things to expire in the statute of limitations. So, I think basically it is something where the justice system is not a system where we feel like, there's full justice there. When you look at Lady Justice is supposed to be standing there blindfolded and having two sets of scale, the scale sitting right there, and where the weight of evidence goes on one side or the other. And when you have the Department of Justice, putting weight on one side of the scale,
mm-hmm.
or putting their finger or lifting weight on evidence, not disclosing it, or putting their finger on there to get a predetermined outcome. And meanwhile, you got Democrat judges that are lifting that blindfold up and saying, find out who's actually putting the weight of evidence out there. It really is an injustice system. You expect to go to court, and you expect that the court system would be fair and honest. And that's really not what we have today. It's very, very sad that we end up having a justice system that's more played by politics. Is it a Democrat judge? Is it a Republican judge? And it really the Democrat Republican sense should not be in part of our justice system. It should be something where we have just a judge that
hold on, Frank,
by the law.
Hold that thought. We're going to break. Stick around. I'm going to ask Frank a very important question on the Facebook side. Stick around. More with Frank Aquila here on the Outlaw Radio Network. Outlaw Radio. So Tom brought in smoked turkey from his Thanksgiving. I meant to bring in some prime rib for Tom, and I forgot it at the house. I'm a bad guy. Frank, can you answer totally off the politics speak just for a second, because we have like a 2.5 minute break.
Anyone?
We're having a debate on this show about Christmas music. So one of our hosts thinks we should have Christmas music starting like right at Thanksgiving. Another host thinks we should have Christmas music starting around December 10th or the 15th. And another host only wants to have Christmas music on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which would be never, because we never do a show on those days. When do you think Christmas music is appropriate to use as bumps on this show?
I believe as soon as Thanksgiving ends, it's the Christmas season. I mean, that's why you think about it, you start counting down the 12 days of Christmas. I mean, so you know what? You have literally less than a month until Christmas. I think it's probably about 4 weeks. So you got 28 days. I mean, shoot, if you go to these stores, I mean, before Halloween, you got Christmas decorations already out, you know, so
it's too soon.
to start Christmas music as soon as the day after Thanksgiving, I think is appropriate, because you know what, that's what people are usually out. Black Friday is usually a time to be out there buying gifts for your Christmas season. You put up the Christmas lights, you put up the decorations. You're not going to put decorations up just for 2 or 3 days or even a week or two. You're going to, it takes a while to put all the decorations up, and you have it up, and you make everything look nice during the Christmas season. Like I said, I went to church today. We're already singing Christmas carols, and so it's
okay. Hold on, Frank.
Hold
on. Yeah, coming back on AM Outlaw Radio. Outlaw Radio. K-Dog, Black Tom, St. Paul, Lori, Phil, DJ D's around here somewhere. First show after Thanksgiving. Frank has already sided with me on the Christmas music debate. So suck it, the rest of y'all. Frank, one other question before we go back to politics. What was your meat of choice on Thanksgiving? Are you traditional turkey? Did you do something different, wonky, with ham? What'd you have?
No, it's always traditional turkey. Turkey's on Thanksgiving, ham's on Christmas.
All right. Well, I'll forgive that because you agreed with me on the Christmas music. But I did prime rib. We did prime rib for Thanksgiving because
I'm doing a brisket for Christmas this year.
Or I'm prime rib for Thanksgiving. I don't know what we're doing for Christmas.
I got to ask you. Since you asked that, now what's your pie? Do you go the traditional pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, pecan pie, cherry pie, apple pie? What do you go with?
We did 2 pies this year. We had the traditional pumpkin because you have to have pumpkin, but we also did, for the first time, we did a peach pie, which was really good. Oh, the peach was really good too. Phil, you were going to say something?
I was gonna, maybe this is just my, thought. Absolutely, turkey on Thanksgiving, prime rib on Christmas. Save the ham for Easter.
Okay.
I
don't know what I'm doing.
At the end of the day, I say, have the meat you enjoy the best. That's
right.
what I say.
Well, red meat is always better than any of the other meats. Phil, Tom?
Oh, I think lamb gets overlooked. I like lamb.
I've never had lamb in my
life.
I
love lamb.
Lamb is
lamb
awesome.
on New Year's, New Year's Day.
Okay, we'll get to meat talk.
Lamb is
like the Passover before Easter. Lamb.
By the way,
my mother used to always have lamb on Easter.
By the way, we do have a programming note. The Sunday before Christmas, we will do another No Politics show, and we're just gonna have fun. We're going to talk beverages and food and celebrationary stuff, and it'll just be 3 hours, no politics on the 21st. So there you go. Okay, listen, Frank, can you help me out with something? I was looking at the at President Trump's cabinet picks, and I'm confused, Frank. Hasn't the media been telling us for the last 8 years that Donald Trump and Republicans hate? And I mean hate with a capital H, members of the LGBTQ plus community? Hasn't that been the messaging?
Oh, you know what? They try to throw that out about President Trump on everything. Remember, they try to make him Mr. Evil. Hey, he's against everybody. President Trump he looks at who can do the job, and it doesn't matter about their sexual orientation. What their race is, what their gender is. I think President Trump wants a diverse cabinet. I think he's done so much to try to reach out to the minority communities. And remember, like for example, these minority communities, for example, everybody loved him. I mean, every rap song was about him in for the longest time. And then he gets into politics, and they want to try to portray him as a racist. You know, they try to portray him as against people's sexual orientation. President Trump is a no-nonsense guy. He will reach out, and he will fit the best person for the job. And also, at this point of his life and his career, and being that he relied on people to help him make his choices the first time he was president. This time he knows who's his friend and who is his foe.
Okay, so help me out with this, okay? Because I just want to go over with you Trump's cabinet picks, because the one thing I think Trump has really done well, and differently than a lot of prior Republican presidents, or any president for that matter, he has really leaned into diversity in this cabinet, more so than I think people are going to give him credit for. So let me just give some examples. Scott Bessent, who is going to be the director of the Treasury, he's gonna run the Department of the Interior, Internal Revenue Service, all of that, right? He's the first LGBTQ plus person to lead the Treasury, and one of very few that'll ever be put up to the Senate for confirmation. Marco Rubio is certainly not a white dude. Tulsi Gabbard is part Samoan. Pam Bondi is a female. Lori Chavez, the labor secretary, Chavez de Reamer, is a female. Can we, Brooke Rollins, the agricultural secretary, is a female. Can we acknowledge that Trump is doing what Democrats have accused Republicans of never doing, which is pulling in young people, women, and minorities to serve in his administration?
I think that was President Trump's whole goal, is to really reach out to all these various ethnic groups, to various genders. And, remember that the Democrats, again, going back before the election, they try to scare the Black community, the Hispanic community, why they should not vote for Trump. They try to tell women, oh, he's going to go ahead and put a national abortion ban. He's not going to do that. I mean, if you actually took a long list of everything they accused him of, the opposite's true. And they talk about this agenda 2025. Trump never even knew what that agenda. He said, I never looked at it, never want to be part of it. But so they basically, it's kind of a strategy to really throw out there to various groups to scare people to vote for Republicans. What President Trump had going for him this second time that he ran, third time he ran, remember they were saying all kinds of stuff about him back when he ran in 2016. You had the Russian collusion, in 2020. You had, the Hunter Biden laptop story. You had the 51 intel people saying, oh, it's completely false. You had people like myself getting banned on Facebook for sharing the story. So they try to silence the truth, and at the same time, they go ahead and try to scare you with a bunch of lies. And the media has been the lapdog of the Democrat Party, just to really put that out there. And that's why I think a lot of the ratings for MSDNC and the Communist News Network, they really have lost ratings because, people are saying, they're seeing them for who they are, and they're just speaking to the far ultra left, people that really want to believe the lies. So, but Trump's been able to reach out into the middle and really have common sense practices. Remember, they try to say he was going to be Hitler. I mean, so much they have done against him, but yet he's really reached out. I think, especially for women as well. As you mentioned, there's several women that he's put in cabinet positions, and so I think these are all great picks that he's chosen.
And then the big one this weekend was Kash Patel to take over running the FBI. Your thoughts? It's a unique pick for sure.
You know what? It's somebody that's really going to shake things up. That person's going to be Kash Patel's going to be working right side by side with Pam Bondi. She's going to be great. Quite honestly, I mean, I was hoping that he would. I'm losing my thought. Who is the General Flynn? I was hoping he put General Flynn, who basically was set up by the FBI and with lies to have him be prosecuted. I was hoping that he put him in charge of the FBI. But you know what? Kash Patel he's a strong ally of President Trump. He's really going to get in. I listen to this guy speak, and he's going to do a bang up job.
Yeah, I think he's right. I agree.
Yeah, you like the pick?
Well, a lot of people don't, and like objectively, I can understand why some people don't like the pick. Listen, he doesn't have a ton of experience, right? But what is that position really? That position is somebody who's supposed to go in there and in some ways be neutral, but really in a lot of ways you're supposed to be that side of the president, and be able to represent the president and the way that he wants those departments ran. And it's fascinating watching the narrative turn. Right. And it would not matter who President Trump nominated for any position. These people, the nominees would be attacked in the exact same way with the exact same level of vitriol, no matter who they were for whatever, now they're attacking the Pete Hegseth because his mother sent an email to his ex-wife, or sent an email to him after his divorce. Right. And then recanted it, by the way, and said, yeah, I really shouldn't have said that. That was me just basically whining and bitching, right, about my son. And they're like, nope, you said that he abuses women. So, it's just, it doesn't matter who's there or what's there. And that's something that people got to keep in mind. And, we move forward. Fido, F it, drive on. And, the president's not going to get every single one of his nominees through. They'll be negotiating, and there'll be somebody that somebody doesn't like. And so somebody will have to agree to vote for somebody in order to get this person or that person through. And I don't recall how many appointees he has to put in place, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. It's thousands, if I recall.
I really feel like it doesn't matter who he picks for these department heads.
Yeah.
Right. Because the department heads don't do the job. They're management.
Yep.
So they're, like whoever's in charge of the VA is not going to be serving veterans directly. Right. They're going to be managing the workforce that serves veterans. Right.
Yeah.
What I would find more curious, and we'll never be able to get direct numbers on, is who are the underlings under them? Who are the people advising them? Like Linda McMahon put in charge of the Department of Education. Look, the only education she knows about is beating somebody with a steel chair in a wrestling ring. That's the education that she knows about.
Well, she's been involved with a lot of...
I'm being a smart ass, okay. But who is working for her? Yes, me. Oh, who's working for her that will be advising her about educational things? And those are the questions we're not going to know.
Yeah.
So, Frank, is Hegseth kind of the next guy in Trump's cabinet that may run into problems getting approved? I mean, obviously we had, what was his name? The dude that backed out.
Gates.
Yeah, Matt Gates.
Yeah,
is Hegseth kind of the next guy in trouble? If somebody's going to be in trouble.
I think the Democrats would like to try to go ahead and make some headwinds on it, but I think with you got two senators, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, who may be two that would vote against. If there's one more, you still have, Vance would be the tie-breaking vote. So there'd have to be three people that would back away. I think Hegseth gets in. But, you make an interesting point. A lot of these people are department heads. But in that one sense, though, Kevin, I think there's one thing that you have to look at. Trump didn't have the right people in place the first time. And remember, as an FBI director, he had James Comey. And then it was recommended, we'll go with Christopher Wray. Well, he found out how these people are so corrupt and how the whole department's corrupt. So picking Kash Patel, having a person that, he could talk to, and he knows he's going to get an honest answer. He knows he's going to start shaking things up. And I think a lot of these different bureaucracies that are out there, knowing that you got Ramaswamy and you got Elon Musk out there saying, hey, we're going to start cutting various departments. These people are going to be wanting to save their own behind. And there's going to be some cutbacks in a lot of these departments. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of people very scared of an overburdened government where you have too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Hey, careful now. We just got past Thanksgiving, Frank. Be careful. All right, Frank, hold on. I'm going to ask you about Doge when we come back on the AM side, because we had a great conversation about it earlier on our last show, but I'm going to ask you your thoughts. So stick around. Outlaw Radio Network, one more segment with Frank Aquila, author of the book Sarah Palin Out of Nowhere. We're back after this. It's the Mega Talk Radio Network. No, there is no megatalkradionetwork.com. I keep telling you guys that. Hello, radio. So, Frank, before we come back on AM, how was your Thanksgiving, my friend? How's your amazing wife? How are things in the People's Republic of California?
Oh no, it was really, really great. I had a really great Thanksgiving with my brother, friends, the granddaughters. They were out there, so we had a great time having Thanksgiving. It was first Thanksgiving though without my mother. You know, her birthday was always would fall every once in a while. It'd fall right on Thanksgiving. We always celebrate her birthday. And for her to pass away in September, it was a little bit different, you know, not having mom anymore. So as you're aware, Kevin, is the same situation for you. You know, it's as you get older, you become the more senior person, and you have the youngsters around. So you know, it's just a different feel at that point.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting any older, bud. I forbid it. I'm just not going to get any older. It's just not going to happen.
I'm trying. So far, I'm failing that.
I'm still 29 years old. I'm just going to stay that way. My oldest son is 33, but I'm going to stay 29 forever, and we're just going to call it good. Yeah, Frank, I know exactly what you mean. We lost my mom back in at the end of February, so this will be the first holidays without her. Part of me is really dreading it, man, and a part of me is probably embracing it more than normal because of it. You know, just because of how much she loved it. So. My heart's with you, brother. I got an idea what you're going through. All right.
Well, you know, I have to say, because you have Thanksgiving, I tell you what, as you get older and older, you have more and more to be thankful for that you really do appreciate. You really do.
Hold on, Frank.
Are able to reflect on.
Coming back on AM. Thank you, Frank. Hold on one sec. Outlaw Radio. Outlaw Radio. Final segment with Frank Aquila, conservative insider, author of the book Sarah Palin Out of Nowhere, good friend of the show. Frank, let's talk Doge. The Department of Government Efficiency. Dogecoin. Is it Doge or Doge?
D-O-G-E. Doge.
Is it Doge?
I
move along,
I've
little
always
Doge.
heard it as Doge.
Doge. Okay.
Doge.
Department of Government Accountability.
No, efficiency.
Yeah, that's it too.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it too.
Everybody's correcting Paul tonight.
Stop correcting me.
It's like he's at home with his wife. Okay, listen. Frank, we had a conversation about this on our last show. So there's two schools of thought to this, right? One is government spending is out of hand. Government is too big and bloated. There's a lot of wasted money, a lot of wasted taxpayer money, and something has to be done to rein it in. The other school of thought is, who exactly are we cutting with Doge? Are we getting rid of frontline employees who are there to serve the American public, or are we getting rid of middle management monkeys that really don't do anything besides kick the rules and regulations down to each other before they finally get it to the frontline employees? Do you have a thought on what exactly Doge is going to roll out?
Well, let's first, before you even talk about that, let's remember what the founding fathers really wanted in our government. I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said, a government big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take everything you have. And so that's really what we have with the government. I mean, I'll give you the IRS, for example. I know, Kevin, I know that we've discussed this before, but, an IRS of 87,000 IRS agents added on. I would love to see it where people that were our representative, they actually were in Congress to represent us. These people that they go get in office, they're making, on a salary of, let's say, $100,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, whatever it is, and yet they're making millions. I would love to see every single government official mandated to be audited. And so, we have too many people that they have their own self-interest in government and when they get into office, and rather than the interest of the people. So, the laws that apply to insider trading, if I was on Wall Street, should also apply to our government officials. Now, going back to our controlling the size of our government and these different bureaucracies, I think it's got to be a combination of everything, all the way to the point of even eliminating various departments. Why do we need a Department of Education, for example? Give the states, every state can mandate their own Department of Education. And, there doesn't have to be federal standards. I think, you have the states that are stating, hey, this is what we're going to do with our education. And, the federal government shouldn't know better than what the states know. This way, you can individualize it to what the states feel is the best need for teaching children. And then at that point, then you'll find out which states are actually really doing great, and the kids are having really high scores in reading, writing, and arithmetic, and which ones are failing. And California would be a state that's failing, because I really feel like California kids, for example, they're not really focused on the things they need to be focused on.
But Frank, let me give you the counter to this. This is the concern that I have with Doge, right? One of the plans they have is to pull federal employees back in from working at home. And even Elon Musk has said, look, really the goal is just, if they have to come into the office, they're not going to like it. They're going to quit, and we're going to thin out the federal workforce that way. My problem is, let's use the IRS again as the example. The tax code is so massive and awful that the only people that are going to be hurt if we thin out the IRS, for example, are the American taxpayer. We already can't call and ask tax questions. We can't call and get tax assistance. There's very minimal tax law services being offered through the IRS anymore. And there are people owing every single year because they couldn't get a hold of a live body to answer a really simple question. Can I claim this deduction? Can I claim this dependent? Can I claim this child? Or is this taxable? Or just normal basic stuff that they used to be able to help with over the phone. And when people call the IRS now, they get put on hold for 4 hours and eventually booted off, because that's how long the whole system will hold them for. I understand the desire to whittle down government spending, but if we purge out frontline employees, doesn't that hurt Americans across the board more than anybody else?
Well, I would say with the IRS, for example, they need to simplify the tax code. It's so complicated. I have a tax lady. She does my taxes every year, and she has to go to school basically to make sure she's up to date on all the new provisions that they want to enforce. Mm-hmm. And really, calling up the IRS and they say, hey, what's this or that? Or, if everything was simple for somebody that just had to do an easy form, they should be able to do it without having complications and know where you're supposed to mail this into. So you don't have somebody like Lois Lerner over there at the IRS targeting various conservative groups. At the same time, you have your tax person. That person should be able to answer your questions. If you have a more complicated tax question, you shouldn't have to be making phone calls to the IRS. And we know the 87,000 IRS agents basically was to target more and more Americans. How come we're not targeting our state and federal representatives to make sure these people aren't profiting off the system, using the system for their own self-gratification, and instead we're trying to target various peoples in the community to see if they actually had their taxes correct, and they didn't put an extra decimal point in while they're doing everything. It's just, most people are going to H&R Block, or they have their own tax preparer. And then you got people that they just need a simple form. The IRS should be thinned down, and as well as all these other agencies. And I know I mentioned this before. If you go to usdebtclock.org, I think last time we talked about it, you guys told me it was at $36 trillion. And it's just disgusting that the debt clock is going at an astronomical rate. That $36 trillion is just nuts. Yeah, that's way more than what all the taxes they'll accumulate in 1 year. So, by 9 times that. So it's something that we really have to, if we want to try to stabilize the government, there has to be some more efficiency, and we have to have more accountability as well.
Yeah, Frank, I completely agree with all of that. I fear we're putting the cart before the horse, right? We're going to cut all these agents and then say, let's hope that Congress can get off their duffs and fix the tax code, which they haven't done. I mean, people have only been complaining about the complexity of the tax code for my entire life. And now we're going to cut all these. I will disagree with you on one thing, which is the idea that we should all be able to ask our tax person. Part of the problem is the poor people don't have tax people. I mean, the people with money to find loopholes have got the ability to hire someone to find the loopholes. The poor folks don't.
That's Kevin. That's where I agree with you. But if it's somebody that's poor, that's why there should be literally. I mean, hey, my first job, unlike Kamala Harris, saying I worked at McDonald's. I actually did work at McDonald's, and I remember doing my taxes when I was 16 years old. I had a 1-sheet easy form. I just put down how much I made, how much I paid in taxes.
The 1040 easy, yes.
1040 easy, yeah.
I miss doing that.
Right? Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I just again, Frank, I hear you. I think the bureaucracy, if we get rid of, and by the way, Frank, I think every government employee should work from home if they're able to. I think they should close a lot of these federal government offices, because the amount of money that's spent on rent that the government pays to itself through the GSA, the amount of money that's spent on power bills, internet bills, water bills, hiring janitorial services to come in and clean up, all that output could be washed away if you just told federal employees, work from home if you're able to, and pay for your own damn internet. Like, I think that would save so much more money.
I have to agree with you, Kevin. And here's the problem with the fact that if you do make these federal employees come into work, and I didn't hear about this, but I did hear about this with various companies, is some of these federal employees actually have moved away. So a lot of them are going to maybe have to quit their job because they can't come into work because they've been working from home. And it's like, hey, you know what? Now, if I got to come in, how am I going to be able to come in? Because maybe they're working from another state or a whole nother area. So,
well, Frank, let me give you an example that's even worse than that. So I work for the federal government out of Seattle. My building is right downtown. There are people that worked in my unit with me that applied for work from home, 100% work from home positions. Their home office is DC, but they live in Seattle and they've never had to report in person. And if you suddenly flip the script on this, they're all going to have to quit because they're not going to want to move to DC.
Well, isn't that what they said? If they force all the government workers to come back to work in the office, they'll have a host of people saying, hey, I quit or retire.
Again, the only people you're going to hurt if you do that, like at my agency, you're hurting vets.
No,
you're hurting vets.
I agree. That's something that would have to be looked at. And I wasn't aware that was being proposed, but I did know in the private sector that had happened a few times.
So, and we do know that there are a few studies that do very plainly show that people that work from home have higher productivity.
Yeah.
And I do hope that is something that they take into consideration. But Kevin, you've done quite well working from home now for quite a while. So let's just be honest though, you have a little bit of dog in that fight, right? I mean, that's you have your own reasons for wanting us to keep
I have a dog in the fight, but I also know what the productivity for my agency was.
Do you feel like you have more productivity?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my agency tracks my productivity, and so you can look at what I do.
Okay, so like everything you like from the moment you're on the computer, whenever you're working on somebody's project, like they know it essentially, right?
We have points.
So the
computer automatically assigns points for tasks that we complete. We have to hit a certain number to make our numbers or to excel our numbers or whatever, right?
You're playing a video game.
No, kind of. I mean, kind of. Well, they assign points because they
achieved a new level.
They have to hold us. They have to hold us accountable, so they do it with points.
Okay,
Frank, we love you, man. I'm not going to talk to you again until 2025. So my hope is we'll chat online, I'm sure. But between now and then, man, Merry Christmas to you and your fam. We love you.
Merry Christmas to all of you. Yeah,
thanks for another year of supporting the show.
Frank, do I have time to ask Frank one more question real quick?
Why don't you hold on until we get into Facebook only at the top of the hour, and then you can ask that.
Okay.
And we're going to bring Boss Baby back on.
Well, let me set it up at least for you, Frank. So last week, we all got the immense pleasure of being spoken to one final time by the previous person who should have been president, depending upon who you ask. And I am thoroughly convinced that this video that she put out last week, she is buzzed. She's buzzed, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think when we go to the break and we come back and we're on, I'm curious for your opinion. I want to know if you kind of thought the same thing. And this coming from me and somebody that used to be a fairly regular is an everyday drinker, you know.
Frank, hold on. We'll talk to you a little bit more on the Facebook side. And that's it with Frank. Tell him goodbye. Wave your hands. We'll be back
like
after
you just
this.
don't care. Put them in the air.
It's Outlaw Radio Network.
Don't come. Jerks.
So true story, by the way. I'm a very superstitious person.
I thought you were going to say selfish.
I've started wearing Seahawk jerseys to church, and I have learned that when I wear Seahawk jerseys of current players, they win.
Okay.
Of current players, they win. So now I'm only wearing current player jerseys to church every Sunday.
Is that the trick?
That's what it's been. That's what it's been during this win streak for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I got my Jackson Smith and Jigba. I got my Walker the third.
Dude had a game.
Who did Jackson Smith?
Yeah.
He's Frank. Hold on. Ask Frank your question. Go ahead.
Okay. So Frank, we all got the pleasure of being addressed by Kamala Harris last week. She wanted to make sure we all knew that it was our responsibility and our duty to never let anybody take that away from us. I'm still not sure what that is, but
to unburden what has been burdened.
Apparently. I got a friend that got burdened with herpes, but he didn't pay the cookers, he's like, as soon as he knew something was up. Here's what I want to know, Frank. Was it just me that she seemed like maybe it was an emotional thing for her so she had a few glasses of wine before she wasn't drunk, but it's just, when you got that friend that by the way that they're talking, that if they drink a few more, they're going to be drunk, but so they're like right there on the cusp. I just got the feeling that was her.
And you know what? That's been what's been speculated all along. I mean, from what I understand, she's not very well liked, even by her own staff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of her staff has actually quit on her. So I think really we dodged a bullet. It's still 74 million votes that she received compared to 77 million that Trump received.
Yeah,
and hey, that 77 is a significant number. I've talked to you guys about that before.
Yes,
remember
you did.
going back to my article. I mean, there's a lot of things there with President Trump that has a lot of significance.
I would suggest for those that are listening, and just from everything we got to learn or didn't get to learn about Kamala Harris, based on the people that left her campaign before, during, and after, and the things that they had to say, to your point, Frank, about having dodged a bullet, I just get the impression that Secret Service and agents and generals were drawing straws to get to see who played hide and seek for 1 week out of the month. Like, I'm just like, oh, Bob, it's you. Don't be in the building, Bob.
Frank, would you donate to Kamala's I'm 5 million in the hole fund if it meant that she'd shut up and stop posting videos?
No, let her go ahead and make herself look stupid. Nobody's going to be paying attention to those videos anyway. So she's doing more more damage than good by posting that nonsense.
For sure. Let me ask you guys one more question. This goes Frank and Kevin. I want to know if you guys think, is there anything wrong with her paying celebrities without them notifying employers like Al Sharpton, or to these nonprofit organizations, like in order to get interviews? Anything wrong with that?
What
do you think it's okay? Well, we now know that she paid Beyonce. She paid Oprah's company. She paid Reverend Al Sharpton's nonprofit specifically so that they would interview her. You hadn't heard that?
No.
Yeah. It's more unethical to do something like that, and even with those that accepted the money. I mean, they're unethical to go ahead and say, oh yeah, okay, now I'm taking your money, and now I'll go ahead and interview you.
Yeah.
It's unethical on both sides. Yeah. And again, it goes back to the imagery of what they want to do with because if they're doing the interviews, I'm sure they're passing along what the question's going to be. It's going to be an easy interview. It's going to be a fun interview. Right. And they're not doing the service to the people by doing that.
Well, Reverend Al's first question to her was, "Thanks for calling me on my birthday." I mean, oh Lord,
Frank, we love you, man. We'll talk to you in 2025, man. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Take care, Frank.
Merry Christmas. See you guys next year.
Have a great holiday.
Talk soon. All right, there goes Frank Aquila, author of the book Sarah Palin Out of Nowhere, good friend of the show.
The comment was made in chat, Kevin, about pushback.
Yeah.
About why we don't push back on certain things. And I would just like to take a half a second and explain something
you
to
got
the
like
listeners.
10 seconds.
Okay, well, fuck them.
We don't push back because we're giving people. We wouldn't push. Like, you could call and give your thoughts too. Like, whoever.
It's called having a conversation. We're not fucking journalists.
And I don't argue with people in the chat. Why do you feel that way? Oh my god! We just.
It's called a conversation.
We're getting different perspectives.
I mean,
Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
Greed, deception, abuse of power, that's no plan. I'm the enemy. Because I like to think. I like to read. I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy who likes to sit in a greasy spoon and wonder, gee, should I have the T-bone steak or the jumbo rack of barbecue ribs with the side order of gravy fries? I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in the non-smoking section. I want to run through the streets naked with green jello all over my body reading Playboy magazine. Why? Because I suddenly might feel the need to, okay, pal? I've seen this. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas drinking a banana broccoli shake singing I'm an Oscar Mayer week.
Outlaw Radio
Network.
.com.
All right.
Damn, Laura, you let him beat you to it.
I know.
Listen, I'm a
sorry.
trained professional, folks. Don't try this at home.
By the way, can we just point out the marvelous Hello Kitty?
Is that what that is? I couldn't see the other side of it.
Amazing.
I thought it was like a weird plastic vagina or something.
I thought a little kid had left this in here.
Do you have any paper, like just regular paper, blank paper?
I do.
Tom, I think it's a
piece of
totally
blank
cool
paper?
kink.
What color?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Huh?
I'm just gonna cut it up.
I don't think of it.
We're gonna bring Boss Baby.
No,
back
that's
on
cool,
the,
man. It's your
stream
thing.
with us.
It's whatever you think of it as or don't think of it as. Like, it's sometimes he's the girl, sometimes she's the girl.
Paul,
Whatever.
say hi to Boss
It's all
Baby.
good.
Yesterday was her birthday.
Oh, well, crud. Happy birthday, Boss Baby.
Well,
Are you 29?
And a few, yeah.
Okay, 29. I dig it. I dig it. You'll always be 29 to me.
Oh.
Whatever.
She hates
so
me.
really quickly, while Boss Baby is on the line, we're going to do our drawing for our Outlaw Radio Network gift exchange. Okay. Because we didn't do it yet, and it's December now, and we need to have this.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Now, don't forget to write each person's name down, Kevin, on the piece of paper, then tear it and rip and like fold it in half, right? So that nobody can see who draws who.
So it's going to be a secret this time?
I think that's a good idea.
So nobody's going to know.
Nobody knows who gets
well,
who.
how are we going to draw for Boss Baby then? Because I'm going to know.
I'll draw for.
Oh,
because you're a woman, you're going to be fair about it.
I'm the one to do it. I have estrogen and you don't. Nah.
You could just save it till last and then hold it up to the camera, and only she and the audience knows.
But then somebody in the audience would make a smart ass comment, and then we'd all know.
No, there's that.
I'll let Lori handle
That's a feature.
Although it might be best to just like
Do we want it to be a secret?
Do it during a commercial?
You got me as not participating, right?
Yeah, you're not participating.
So I could draw.
Well, then just give it to Phil, and then Phil can shoot me a message.
Phil, is that good? Is that fair?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I didn't say it's fair, but it's fine.
Don't let anybody ever say.
Lori, would you go ask Dennis if he's participating? I don't want to assume either way, but would you go ask him before we do the drawing? He's in the control room. Okay, hold on. So we're getting this together. All right. So there's five,
this is enthralling
maybe
radio.
6. No, Paul, talk really quick.
Oh, you want me to talk?
You've been a radio host for the better part of 25 years. Carry
Yes.
the show for
Yeah.
1 minute while I
Yeah.
get this together.
Okay. Let's talk about
moron.
Kevin's dating life. Here's the thing,
you know
folks. Come here, Bella. So I brought in our very first rescue animal tonight.
Noted, Dennis.
And
10-4.
This little girl she was a year old, right? And we got her on Christmas Eve years ago, and it was the Christmas Eve a year after my divorce, and my youngest son Truman was still having a real tough time with some things. Well, this poor little girl, her dad, she was raised on a farm. She was a cattle dog on a farm with cattle and everything else. Well, her dad was moving to Australia.
Oh.
And he was only going to be gone for a year. And he didn't think that it was fair to her to pass her off to somebody for a year, then take her back because she was only a year old.
Right.
Anyway, long story short, she was super attached to him, super attached. And from a cattle dog perspective, knowing what I know now after 7 years of owning cattle dogs, a whole fleet of them, you begin to learn and understand about the personality of the dogs. And we got her for my son. And rescue probably isn't the right word for it, but we stepped in, took her off the young man's hands. And it took about 3 weeks, man. She did not want to move. She was upset. Anxiety kicked in, she's high anxiety. But she's so attached. Like she would crawl in your skin. Like she just wants the human companionship that bad. And, the last couple of months I've been working a lot and getting a new business off the ground and all the rest of this stuff. And I haven't really got to pay much attention to her. And so tonight I went to leave and I looked at her and she was just sitting there wagging her tail, sitting up and looking at me as I went to walk out the door. I was like, do you want to go? She's like, what? She's like, holy cow. Yes. And so, I threw one of the in training dog vests on her and stuff like that. Cause she's out on the farm all day. I don't even have a leash and a collar for her. All of the rest of my cattle dogs had to go through training. That we had to take them through all their training. Her didn't have to do, you, Kevin. Mr.
It's a Christmas story,
okay, Kevin.
Yeah, I just wanted
the total Christmas story, like Lori said.
All right, hold on. So everybody,
do you understand the meaning of the word asshole?
Yes, I've worked with you for 25 years.
Look, see, Buckeye's in the shot.
Yes.
Hello, Buckeye Jerome.
Good Lord.
I'm going to pull one, and then I'm going to look and make sure it's not me.
Why don't we wait? I'll finish telling the story about the dog. I'm kidding.
If you draw yourself, you have to throw it back in and draw another one, okay? All right, so hold on. So I drew my freaking self.
Wait, what if I want to draw my name?
You cannot draw your own name. That is against the rules.
Darn it.
Against the rules. All right, I drew a name. Oh, perfect. Okay. So you draw.
Kevin got my name or Boss Baby. Sorry. In advance.
I got Buckeye Jerome.
Just remember, whoever gets Kevin, whatever you get him, make sure it doesn't go bad in a short amount of time.
Shut up, Paul.
He'll let it sit forever.
All right. So hand that over to Paul. Just do not draw your own name.
Just do not draw your own name. All right. That's the only stipulation?
Yes.
Okay.
What's our limit? $25 a piece, and we're going to open them live on the air on the 22nd.
Sounds good. I got mine. Who goes over? Who does it go to next?
Goes to Lori.
Okay.
And then Phil, would you come in here real quick? Because you have to look at yours to make sure it's not Andy's name.
Come here, Bella. Good girl.
I'm the last to draw.
Well, but if it's Andy's name, we all have to put our cards back in because she can't draw herself. That's what I'm saying. Okay, perfect. All right, so everybody knows who they got?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yep.
This
All right.
person's getting a sex doll.
Question from the chat. Terry asked, isn't all of this potential for Kamala to lose her bar license? It doesn't matter. She's never going to practice law again.
She's
rich beyond means. She's never going to be.
Is she really?
She is.
I mean, how did she I mean, she's been a public servant.
She's going to write a book deal. She's got lobbyist money. From
So
when
she has
was a
potential,
senator.
is your point?
No, but she got lobbyist money.
Well, that lobbyist money is not supposed to be for her. It may be sitting in a pack,
it's
right?
not supposed to be, but they all get rich when they're in there.
So are you trying to say that that these politicians are all dirty?
Yes.
Well, okay then.
99.9%.
No,
of them.
cool. If that's what you're saying, I'm agreeing with you.
Both sides of the aisle.
Both sides, absolutely.
Any politician
Yeah.
not named Jesse Young is crooked as hell.
I think it's more at the federal level where you see the corruption.
because
I
there's
mean,
more money there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 2/3 of Congress took money from Big Pharma in 2021.
And you know they found ways to put some of it, if not all of it, in Hip National Bank.
Yeah,
sure.
Totally agree.
Listen, Joe Biden, when he ran for the Senate,
dude said he had $150,000 in personal assets when he ran as vice president.
Yeah.
With
he has a
Barack Obama.
multi-million-dollar home.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that? You don't get
Yeah.
that off the salary.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And then you have to sit and listen to the guy tell you how he does everything the right way. You
Rick
know?
said, "Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for what, Rick? What did I do? Go ahead."
You called him a crooked politician.
No,
Oh,
I don't,
yes,
hold
you're
on,
right.
hold on.
Well done, Andy.
I don't
Boy,
think-
she's on you like stink on
I don't
poo-poo.
think
Sorry,
city.
Rick.
I don't
We
think
meant,
city candidates,
Congress.
school board candidates fit into that same criteria. There's no money in those races. There's not.
I just defended our local politicians.
Yeah, but I think when you get to state level and you get to federal level, I think that there's a lot of money floating around up there. So Rick, you know that I love you, and you know that I don't think you're crooked, and this is not the time or place to be a snowflake.
Well, I will make the announcement since we're talking about this. The next few months, wife and I had a discussion about it. I'm going to sit down and look. I think that I'm going to spend this year ramping up, and next year, so in 2 years, my name will be on a ballot. Now, what for and where at is to be determined.
So, what are your options?
Well, I could run in the 26th.
So you are in the 26th.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably would not run for state rep or anything like that yet because I don't have the experience. But I will probably
I would
run
endorse
for,
you against
I will,
Michelle Calder.
I will probably run for like I was thinking about Parks and Rec board, Parks and Rec, Keep-In Parks and Rec, something like that. Something to get my foot in the door and and learn, get my feet wet.
Port of Waterman, maybe?
So, no. But there's the reason why I say maybe the parks. There's a lot of stuff going on Keep-In because there's a lot of land and a lot of money out there. We actually have, living on Key Peninsula, we actually have a oh my gosh, now it's escaping me. You win $1 million. It's a European
lottery.
No, it's the European prize that you get. Like Barack Obama got one.
Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prize. Thank you. We actually have a Nobel Prize winner on Key Peninsula. Like there's a lot of money out there.
What
and
did
a lot
he
of
win
people.
a Nobel Prize for?
Economics. The guy that's on the Key Peninsula. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But there's just not a lot of those people, right? But because there's a lot of land out there.
Rick, don't be sensitive. I wasn't talking about you. You're not in a money race. I'm talking about state races and federal races. And state means like state house, state senate, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but there's a huge issue out there that's going on. So I don't know how many people remember this far back, but they used to have the Renaissance Fair out there.
Yeah.
There's a 20-acre parcel of farm. Okay.
Yeah.
That piece of property was owned by my former wife, my ex-wife, Harmony. It's owned by her best friend's family. And he owed a lot in taxes because he owned an insurance company. He also won the lottery.
Ooh.
And he used that lottery winnings to buy that piece of property. Well, turned out Pierce County wanted to use right of eminent domain to take would have amounted to about 1.5 acres of his property because they wanted to widen the highway to 4 lanes. And because it borders that main road right there, 302. And so to avoid that, he took his property and did a total Yellowstone John Dutton thing. He put the entire property and his house and donated it to the Conservancy and turned it into a big park.
Wow.
So that the county could not touch it.
Okay.
He was like, hey, I got this place for free, man. I won the lottery, for God's sakes. Right. And so he took the whole thing. I do not know all the details about it.
Sure.
But there's a big issue going on out there right now because that property was initially equine property. Okay, that's what they bought it for, was for their daughter's horses and all that stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of horse owners out on the peninsula because most people out there live on acreage. I mean 95% of people out there live on acreage. And there's, so anyway, long story short, one of the things that's been proposed that has gotten a massive amount of traction, thank you, is building a large covered arena, a public arena that's covered for equine, you know, like a horse arena.
Yeah.
And it's something that they want to build for the public, right? So the small percentage of people out there is really making waves about how that's not an appropriate use of public money and stuff like that. So it's like, boy, I'd love to be in on that fight, and I'd love to have a voice. So that's something that I've looked at, and I'm giving some thought to. I'll decide over the next few months. But
so 2 things really quick, Phil. We need to go through and delete every archive of Paul saying anything offensive. If you decide to run for office, get rid of it. And 2, if you get elected to public office, would that change how you are on this show?
No.
You would
because
still occasionally swear and break the FCC
I would.
laws.
I will tell you why. Because I have to be who I am, and I've talked openly. The people that I've talked to about this, I've told them all, listen, I've said plenty of stuff that could be used against me on this show over the years. But there's nothing I haven't said here that I wouldn't reasonably own. Doesn't mean it's right, but I mean, I have no problem owning it, you know? So no, man, if I'm going to run for office, I'm going to run for office as I am, who I am.
Good. I like that.
So
besides, if we had to remove everything, I'd be what, 2032 maybe?
Yeah. Boss baby, would you ever run for office now that you're a legal adult of legal drinking age?
She's a smart one. She should. No. People like her. Need
my
to
dad did that. I'm smarter than that.
Yep.
Fight me.
Yeah.
She's like, I just talking about how I might run. She's like, no, I'm smarter than that.
No, my dad ran. No, he can do the politics of the family.
Are you saying that because of the mudslinging and the nastiness that comes with politics, or are you saying that because
I have that like in regular life? When you are the face of your business, you deal with all kinds, like you guys, most of you in that room know.
I don't. I blame everything here on Kevin.
Well, he's the one person who doesn't know because he hasn't ran his own business. I think the rest of the people in the room have at
I
one
think you're right. Actually, that's a great point, Andy.
Well, okay. You know what? All of y'all can go to hell. All of y'all.
But God bless you for the people that you help now.
Yeah.
I mean, before you didn't help anybody. In fact, you just screwed people's lives over. But now you help people, and the work you do is really good. You're important, and we love you. Yep.
Yeah. It's just you are the face. You get the mudslinging, like you get that every day from somebody who wants to be you, somebody who, there's all kinds of BS reasons they come about it.
Hey, were you, boss baby? Were you okay with President Biden pardoning his son today?
No.
Okay. Do you want to tell us why?
Because I think it's no accountability. It's the same fight I have with the world right now is there's no accountability in the world for everyone.
Yep.
That's
same argument you had about kids getting off and not having to make their college tuition payments back.
That's my soapbox is there's not enough accountability in the world.
Not a bad soapbox.
Yes.
See, run for office. Done deal. You have what it takes. There you go.
I do, but I don't have the energy for it. I had a heart attack like this year from lesser things. I don't need to give myself any more stress.
Wait. What do you mean you had a heart attack? Are you just flummoxing us? Or
that was a figure of speech, I'm sure.
No, it was not.
No, last month I literally almost was at the hospital and having a heart attack. Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin, I don't know where the hell we were at, Tom.
Why
Nobody
do I
bothered
find
to tell
out
us.
Just now like this.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, it's.
But you guys didn't know I had a kid? Huh?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Wait,
it's
that's
been.
Kevin's.
I'm very happy to.
Hold on, boss baby. Wait 1 second. You go to hell, and you go to hell, and you both go to hell, and you die.
No,
okay?
Listen. I didn't say that.
They're being mean to me, Andy.
That's your problem. You divorced me. I can't stand up for you anymore.
Like you
That's
stood up for women in
unfortunate because he
marriage.
clearly needs somebody to defend his honor.
What honor? Anyway.
Okay. No comment.
Trust me, the way you two were together, man, if Andy bent over, you'd be honored.
Oh, God. I'm glad my mom doesn't typically listen to this show.
Well, actually, surprise! Here
Surprise,
she
she's
is.
on.
Yeah, right. She might be.
Yeah, she was.
She loves this show.
She laughs at you guys, I think.
Probably. All right. I think you should run, Paul, but I think you're underselling yourself.
I'm not selling myself at all yet.
No, you're underselling what you're able to do, like Parks and Rec at Key Pen.
Well, it's a good place to get my feet wet.
That literally is like running for class president in a class that has 5 people in it.
Yeah, well,
it's not like
there's a lot of good and important things out where I live
and
that are involved in that.
Yeah,
Paul,
there's quite a bit more of a community out there than you think. I have some friends that live out that way.
Also, Parks and Rec is going to become real, a lot bigger soon because the Parks and Rec show made by the same people, they made another show that I think
you just never know with Andy.
Blow you guys
just never know.
Well, I know they're going to do another show. They're also going to do another edition of Suits. But listen, Paul, I'm worried about your legacy. I'm thinking
My
about your
kid's
legacy.
not a convicted felon. I don't have to pardon him.
No, listen,
I didn't know you had a Subaru.
Do you know what a legacy is, Paul?
A Subaru.
A legacy is planting seeds in a garden you never get to see.
I planted a couple seeds.
That's my quote from Hamilton. Never mind. Go to hell. All right. I think you should run for something bigger.
Well, I am legitimately. I'm
you should
literally
run for state representative position 2.
I am exploring it.
Or position 1, really. I mean, either one.
If I probably would have to be convinced to step into that role as a rook. If I was going to do it, that would mean I would have to do it multiple years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have to do it with the idea that I'm going to run for like 10 years straight.
I think you need to announce today.
I'm not announcing.
But what I'm saying theoretically, right? Announce today so that when primaries are held in just over 18 months, you will have had 18 months to build your name recognition.
Yeah, well, I do. That's part of why I would be in the next few months. I would make a decision, right? Because we've had enough discussions with enough people, right, Kev? Peoples that are movers and shakers within that industry, right? Within politics, and you know, there's no illusion about the fact that
would you run as a Republican?
While I have,
because you'd have to be in a party.
Yeah, I would. I would have to. I am much more like I'm a fiscal conservative, social moderate, but people that are on the left side of the aisle consider me an extreme right person. You know,
right.
because of my stance on the Second Amendment and my position on abortion. So I would really have no choice but to join the Republican Party, become active, and run on that. So. You know.
All right, we have a phone call. I wonder if they're going to chime in about your plans to run for election. Let's bring Rick on the line. Hello, Rick. Thanks for calling the show. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from North Kitsap, so you know.
Oh, it's Rick Ecker. What's up, buddy? I didn't realize it was you. I listen. I just want to apologize up front if you thought I was calling you.
No, I was just totally messing with you.
No, don't let him off the hook that easy, Rick.
Well, I was going to keep doing it, but then you apologized. So
I love Rick. I think Rick should run for higher office too. I think that we need good, honest people in bigger positions.
Well, Rick is developing name recognition in Paulsbo, which is like fishing in a river while the salmon are running. It's like the people running against him are all rotting from the inside out.
Well, no. Let me repeat, as I said on your show and in a council meeting, I have 9 years till early retirement from my job.
But being a state rep pays like, what is it, 40-some thousand or 60,000?
Listen, Rick.
I make more than that in my government job. So.
Rick, I know that you quote unquote live in North Kitsap, but if you'd like to, I don't know, register at my address, you could run for the 26th. That'd be fine.
No, I like where I live. I'm good there. But no, I do have to comment on Paul running.
Yes, please do.
I would have jumped and I don't think we should pronounce it Doge. We need to pronounce it Dodgy.
Dodge?
That's what it's going to find.
Yeah.
It's going to find all the dodgy stuff in the government.
Oh, okay. Well done. Well played. I like that. I dig that word.
Yeah.
Dodge.
So, no, and I told Paul this before, but I'm going to say it again when everybody can hear it. What I told Paul before is he needs to pick the office that is the thing that he wants, that he cares about, wants to do something about. Don't just pick the office that sounds right.
Oh, so
I know people that have run for offices who think they're going to run for something and do something, and they don't understand what that office does. Like they run for school board thinking they're going to change things that are actually laws out of Olympia, or they run for rep, but like you have to pick the office that is what you want to really affect.
And that right there in a nutshell is exactly why I'm taking the next 3 months to take a look, to ask the questions and take a look at it.
Rick, is there an office in the county that regulates strip clubs? Because that would be really up Paul's alley.
Damn, dude.
Probably
Damn.
the commissioner, I would think, because it's set zoning. So there you go.
By the way, we have a comment in chat about you, Rick. Robert says, I'd support Rick for higher office. How about Mayor of Paulsbo? Becky is not running again. What do you think, Rick? Would you run for the mayor of Paulsbo?
That was the comment I made in council, that I have no intention to run when Becky retires.
Yeah, well, Joe Biden wasn't going to run for re-election either.
Yes, but I don't lie. I'm not the lying politician. So, I actually, we were debating that in the city council about what we wanted the next mayor's position to be. I publicly stated it so that there was no question, because we were arguing over part-time versus full-time. And I publicly stated I had no intention to file when she's going out, because, as I said, I got 9 years left of my federal job.
No, it's a smart move, man. It's a smart move, brother.
I'm not leaving that without retirement.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, let me ask you this: when you were in your meeting and you guys were having your discussion and stuff like that, did any names pop up? Anybody talk about wanting to take over that position from the city council?
No. It was in public. It was a council meeting. It was all out in public. No, I don't know who's going to run. I'm really hoping that, because she's been in the job so long and has had almost no one run against her at all, I'm hoping that we have a really robust group of people file. I think that would be the best course going forward. If we only have one, I think that's not going to be a good thing for the city.
No, hold on, we're coming back. We're coming back on AM. We didn't know we went to Facebook only, but we did. But now we're coming back on AM. Hold on, Rick, stay right there. Outlaw Radio. Rick Eckert for president.
Never.
Outlaw Radio, you're home for the Rick Eckert for President campaign.
Well, actually, Kevin Nelson in chat said that Rick should run for governor.
Oh,
maybe
Rick.
start there.
Look at all this love you're getting, man. Governor Rick Eckert.
It's like going from junior high football to the NFL. Like, I'm gonna look what I did.
I thought you were trying to vote him for class president.
No, I've never knocked on a door in any of my 3 campaigns. You try to make me have to go to those levels.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
I don't like door knocking.
That'd be
I
great.
don't like people knocking on my door. I don't knock on theirs. So.
You're a people guy, though, Rick.
What did Chris say on that?
But I don't like people knocking on my door. I don't want to be interrupted like that. So I won't do it to anybody else.
Don't you have other people do the door knocking? You just need to be the face and go,
yeah. Well,
raise money?
Raise money. Yeah,
you're supposed to raise money.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, up till now, my entire campaign staff has been me and Logan. You guys have done Logan.
So hold on. So if Paul's going to run for office, maybe I should run for office too.
Go for it.
But mine would have to be a nonpartisan office because I'm a federal employee, so I can't run for any offices that are partisan. So
we know exactly what you'd run for: Port of Waterman commissioner.
So judge.
I don't live in the Port of Waterman.
We fake it,
judge.
I can run for judge.
There's a lot of nonpartisan offices.
But is there where I live, Rick? You know where I live without giving that away. So so the girls don't come to find my milkshake. What nonpartisan office could I run? Like I can't run for mayor of any city because I don't live in city limits.
County.
So yeah, city council, isn't that nonpartisan?
But I'm not in the city limits.
County commissioners are.
So be county commissioner.
Oh, I could run for county commissioner?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would burn that place to the ground. They would not know what hit them.
Utility district.
I would show up in Bermuda shorts and a tank top and sunglasses and a
auditor,
straw hat.
Assessor.
None of those sound fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of county offices. Sheriff.
No.
Oh my God, I'd be a great sheriff.
There's a new sheriff in town.
That sounds like a bad idea.
I'm trying to think of what else. But there's all the county ones are nonpartisan. And
they'd be like, what qualifies you to run for sheriff, Kevin? Well, I've had some parking tickets.
No, we're not saying you'd
well,
win.
You don't actually have to have.
You just run.
Have a law enforcement qualification to be sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
So,
management
there's
position.
It was just like
Yeah.
coroner. You didn't have to have the experience to be coroner. That's why they wanted to move it to be a medical examiner.
Well, I thought that
That's a great idea.
all of that went through, and Jeff was
Yeah,
he was
But
going
that
that
was
direction,
why,
right?
the
Yeah.
thing is that
Okay.
You could be coroner with no experience
I-
as a
All
as
of
an
our
examiner.
years, Rick, all of our years of being on air, we had never interviewed anybody in 24 years that was running for office so that he could eliminate his own job as an elected official. It
Love
was
it.
pretty cool, actually, to be honest with you, man.
It was intelligent, I thought.
Yep.
Rick,
Well,
I would
they-
just
they were doing
I
it
would
for
just
the right
like
reason.
you to know, Rick, that I really do want you to run for higher office. I think you'd be great.
Governor Eckert.
Governor Eckert.
Yeah.
You have my endorsement. I don't even know what
I
your
thought you
platforms
liked
are.
Yeah, why would you wish that on me? I thought you liked
I like you, but I want better for our state.
Well, 10 years from now, we could talk.
Okay, sounds good. 10
There
years
you
out.
go. And Rick,
Done.
as soon as I get my new paintball field open, you better believe I'm going to give some tickets to you and yours so you guys can come out and play, okay? Tell your son he can come out and light me up like a Christmas tree, okay?
Make sure you claim those on your PDC filings.
He would like that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but hey, so you were talking about the federal stuff, though. I wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so the bringing people back, I think the big distinction has to be made between DC and then those of us out here, because a lot of the numbers that I've seen that are being put out, like if you look at Senator Earth put an open letter to Ramaswamy and Musk outlining how many of the buildings that aren't being occupied, like you said, they're just sitting empty that we're paying rent, and a lot of it's in the DC area. So I think there's a big distinction between, where we work, you and I, versus anything inside the Beltway.
Yeah, I got to be
That's
honest,
where
Rick.
a lot of these empty buildings are.
I got to be honest, Rick. The Jackson Federal Building, which is a 37-story building in downtown Seattle, in the middle of what should be retail hub, but it's not because it's taken over by the homeless drug addicts. But it should be like a significant core office. That building is significantly.
What would you say
empty.
its percentage of vacancy is?
It's hard for me to tell because I've only been on 7 floors of that 37. Well, I've been on 9 floors of that, 10 floors of that 37 floor building.
Okay, but you've been there prior to COVID. You've been there prior to all of this, whatever we're living through now.
Let me give you an example.
So what about the volume of people?
Prior to COVID, there was a restaurant on the 2nd floor for people that worked in the building to go get their lunches and stuff. There was a coffee shop on the 2nd floor, so people go get their coffee. There was enough traffic to justify those. The coffee shop is closed and the restaurant's on its last legs because nobody's in the office now. When I go to the office today, as opposed to when I went in 2010, when I started there, when I started in 2010, they were busy. They were popping. There was a lot of people in that building. When I'm there now, after 2:00, literally I can count on 2 hands the number of people that I run into when I'm walking in that building. Now that could be because they're in their own space, but they're not in the break room. They're not downstairs on the 2nd floor getting soda out of the soda machine. They're not at the restaurant at the little cafe getting their lunch.
So you could probably guess that you're at least 50% vacant.
I would guess it's probably more than that vacant.
Yeah,
Well,
but
some of it's not just that they're working from home, but we have changed the way we work too. With remote meetings, and like I applied for a job with, I think it was Department of Transportation that was over in that building,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an admin officer position, but it was for 5 states.
Yeah.
So at any given time, and this was pre-COVID, I would have been not with 4 of the states I supported. So I assumed I worked out in Seattle most of the time, but if I'm traveling for whatever reason, I'm always away from 4 of the places I supported. Now I'm sure most of that job is done over Zoom. You're not actually flying to those places anymore like we would have in the pre-COVID days. So I think some of the nature of the work has changed,
Mm-hmm.
but I think most of what those guys should focus on, honestly, and you're right, a lot of it's middle management. But if you think about it, in DC, we're not talking. Well, the middle management are GS-15s and SDS.
Yeah.
Out here, the middle management is GS-11 and 12. So I really think they need to be looking there, because the cuts there will have such a greater impact than any cuts outside of Northern Virginia, that area at all.
Well, and here's the other issue too, right? I mean, if the issue is that we have too much federal space and too many empty federal buildings, why don't you just sell the empty federal buildings? Why are you maintaining property you don't need for people that aren't in office when you can sell them, get good money because they're normally in pretty good spaces, and then you're not paying all the upkeep, the cost, the janitors, all that stuff, the security. The security at the federal buildings by themselves is exorbitant. I mean,
well, and how long does it take to get this through Congress?
Yeah,
I mean, so they talked to you. Well, it was the end of Obama going into Trump administration. They talked about closing the National Archives building there in Seattle, right on the edge of UW campus. And there was a big uproar. Folks didn't want it to be closed. And it got reversed, didn't close, because they wanted the archives to be kept local, because the university uses them, the tribes use them. There's a lot there. But the honest answer I thought was, you can close that building. How many empty buildings are there on Joint Base Lewis McChord? Move the archive building down to the base. Because like you said, how many empty buildings are we maintaining?
Yeah.
Or just take that building and replicate it down there, because where it is, if you drive out into that area, you drive out of UW, it's totally gentrified in that area. It's absolutely gorgeous apartments, everything, and then there's this old, ugly government building right in the middle of it, that they could easily close and sell and cover the cost of moving everything down just to the other side of Seattle. But they don't think about that stuff because it's there, it is in place, and it takes 10 years to do anything like that.
Well, and in Seattle, there's 4 significant federal buildings in Seattle. So there's a federal office building on First Ave. There's the Henry M. Jackson Federal Building on Second Ave. And then there's 2 courthouses, one at Fifth Ave and one on Stewart. Well, why couldn't you cut those in half? Why do you have to have a federal office building and the Henry M. Jackson Federal Building when you know that neither one of them are fully staffed? Why not sell one of them, combine them into the other one? Do the same thing with the courthouses. I had a tour of one of the federal courthouses a couple of months ago, and I think half that building's not being used.
Yeah.
And do you even really need a federal courthouse for like I don't mean federal criminal stuff. You're going to have a full trial with those, but aren't most of those things done by Zoom now anyway?
Well, I think they were. I don't know if they still are, but
why not?
Consolidate.
If doing it by Zoom saves money and still gets the exact same thing done, why wouldn't you do it? Why are you paying for a bailiff and security and for people to make sure that you're not carrying bad things into the courtroom and all that other stuff?
We did show
during COVID
that we were capable of making those adjustments.
Yeah.
Not saying we should, but we've proved it could be done.
Now, the argument that's raised, Rick, is that, well, listen, we need to get these federal employees back into their offices because those federal employee money goes to support the local economy, keeps businesses, restaurants, coffee shops open. To which I would say, in the ideal world, maybe, but not in this world, not in Seattle, where businesses downtown are closed, not because federal employees aren't there, but because crime has gotten out of hand. Homelessness is nuts. Drug addicts are running all over the place. Homeless people are literally crapping on the sidewalk, and you can't do anything to even deter them because you're not allowed to. Like, that's what's killed downtown Seattle. It's not because there's not people down there.
Yeah, and that's what I really think a lot of what people are talking about and what those guys are looking at, they're not looking at Seattle. They're certainly not looking at the kids that peninsula. They're talking about DC because that's what they know.
I hope so.
But again, I mean, think about it. How many GS-15 and above do you think are the entire contempt peninsula? Half a dozen?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not looking at the big numbers out here. Where I work, the vast majority of the workforce are actually wage grade employees. These are not highly paid. These are not GS-15 and above paid people. They're blue collar, hands-on workers. So they're not even in the scope and scale of what those guys are looking at.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on where you're looking. And like where we work, average time the day is 6:30 to 3 for most. And we're too far away from anything to go get food at lunchtime. So people bring their lunch. So, we're not really in that same environment. So that's why I really think it's more of a big city, DC focused effort. But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you've been in federal government. A A lot of us were in the military. There is always room to cut. There's always room to look for things to cut.
True. Yeah, that's a great point.
You know, that's why I think they're asking for submissions. They want people to tell them the stuff they see. And say, go look at this, and then they'll make the suggestions. But even court, I mean, we were doing municipal court via Zoom, and one of the things we looked at, because if you think about it, our courthouse is in Port Orchard, right?
Yep.
If somebody doesn't have a car, they have to go to court from Kingston, Haynesville, anywhere outside of Polesville even, it's a 4-hour trip on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Down there and back. And so we've talked a few times about the need to have a courthouse in Polesville, where municipal court is meaning in Polesville, because it's an equity, it's an access to justice issue. Because if you don't have a car, the only way you get there is the bus, and to take the bus all the way from north end to south end, it's a very long, multiple transfers. It's an arduous trip.
All right, Rick, we love you, man. We gotta go to break. We love you, buddy.
Yep.
Take care, Rick.
Talk soon. All right, more of the show, more topics after this. It's Outlaw Radio. All right, it's Outlaw Radio. We are on the Facebook only side. Anybody want to swear? Get out of the way.
So I've been on here all night, and Jay Andrew is not here.
I know. What kind of crap is that?
So we got in a fight yesterday. Did you see that?
Were you being serious?
No. Did you not watch the Ohio State and his team game?
Well,
yeah, I heard about that. What happened?
How did your team
I heard
do,
players
boss
got
baby?
freaking pepper sprayed, man.
Yeah, well, that's because they were attacking the cop because there was a big fight because when Michigan won, they tried to plant their flag in the middle of our field.
Like 15 to 12 or 15 to 10?
It was the worst game. It was 13-10. It was the worst game of football I've ever watched in my life. It was worse than the drunk Seahawks game today.
I mean, and she's probably seen the Cowboys play. So, I mean,
once in a while. Yeah, it was horrible football.
I mean, Ohio State's got a great freaking team this year. At least they looked like they did. But that's it's a rivalry, right?
It's the rivalry. Yeah. So they tried to plant their flag.
Like, it's the only one.
It is. Then our players were like not having it, and then a fight ensued, and then benches cleared, and cops were trying to settle everyone, and they were messing with the cops. So some Michigan players got pepper sprayed. But yeah, it was they came out today. They both schools were fined $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised your team lost. I thought you guys were going to wax them.
I did too.
Yeah. I think everyone did, but it was not a good showing by anyone yesterday. But did anybody watch the Seahawks Jets today? That looked like both teams were drunk.
A win's a win, but Seattle had no business winning that game.
Oh my God!
But
You can't say that.
There were 2 penalties on the Jets that saved us.
You realize that these guys are all professionals. It is the top level of and there is a very small difference between a winner and a loser.
And
every
so there
Sunday.
is no excuse for a personal foul.
Any given Sunday, brother.
I'm just saying there's no excuse for a personal
to
foul.
Fumble 3 times on 3 different kickoffs.
Fumbles happen, that kind of stuff.
Not like that, though.
I'm just talking about personal fouls, because there was a personal foul penalty on the Jets that saved the Seahawks, and
it was a horse collar.
Right, but a personal foul, there's no excuse for a personal foul in the NFL. I mean, fumbles happen, all the rest, but personal foul, I just don't think there's an excuse for it.
Are we back? Okay, we're back. Phil missed it, so don't swear. Did you guys see what happened to Trevor Lawrence today?
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback?
Yeah.
No, what happened to him?
He was sliding, and they were playing Houston, and the defender from Houston, as he was sliding, literally forearm diving shot to his head.
Oh Oh.
And then both benches cleared. There was fighting. Then another fight broke out.
Yeah.
I will be the first one to tell you I hate the slide rule in the NFL. I understand it, but I hate it. And I hate it for that reason because it is so hard to make that split-second judgment call, right? You can be running down the field as a quarterback. You seeing a guy coming right for you, so you just slide, but you slide at the moment he becomes airborne.
But it
And then
wasn't like that. It was like the guy did a pile driver right to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It was,
I'm
yeah.
gonna try to find it for you.
It was obvious.
I'm just saying. I don't like that rule. I listen. Quarterbacks are like any other, and they took those hits before Gen Z started playing professional football. You know, quarterbacks were taking those hits. Terry Bradshaw, Jim Zorn, Dave Craig, all those guys took those hits. You see what we all know what Steve Largent did to that receiver, that defensive back for the Broncos.
I still remember that
right?
game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they took football from a gladiator sport to a powder puff sport.
Hold on. Before we bring this caller on, hold on. I'm going to show you the play. Because most plays I just think are accident or people are just playing hard. This was blatant and gross. So watch this play on our screen here. So this is, again, Houston and Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback. And watch
Los Angeles has a 9-7 lead. We had a brawl here in the Texans-Jags game. You're going to see Azeez Al-Shaair come in and hit Trevor Lawrence as he was going down, and it is going down between the Texans and the Jags. An immediate brawl, a clear cheap shot. 3 different flags flew in. I'm going to lay out here. Guys, can we put up the audio and they can watch the replays here? This is not a good-looking play by Azeez Al-Shaair against Trevor Lawrence that the medical professionals run out to attend to as the fracas continues on the sidelines. Let's listen.
We're not going to listen because I don't know what kind of bad words are going to be said.
Well, they're just quotes.
So, but if they show the replay, I'll let it play for a sec. If they show the replay, when he hits him, he doesn't just hit him with his shoulder. He has his forearm out when he hits him in the head. Like it is blatant. It was really bad. It was really bad. All right, we'll stop sharing that. Anyway,
I don't know, dude. I'm sorry. As the one, I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else. I'm pretty sure. Tom, did you play football in college or high school?
No, not officially on either.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, I played for 12 years, and you're making that decision split second.
Yep.
And it on something like that, you've got a quarterback off and free and clear and running, and you got to stop him as a defensive back.
Hold on. I got breaking news. We have a really important guest. In fact, a guest that I think is probably the most qualified to speak about Paul's plans to potentially run for public office. This man knows Paul, can speak about Paul in ways that none of us know. He is insightful. He has all the inside dirt. Ladies and gentlemen, going to the Black Ring Spirits hotline, let's bring on the captain. Hello, Captain. What do you think about Paul running for public office?
Hey, kids. Well, first off, I'm just wondering, who did Paul play in Rad the movie?
Huh?
What?
Rad, Rad, the BMX movie. Oh, for Christ's sake!
Yeah, I remember the movie. But
he's talking about
the
his
song.
Attire. He's talking about his attire.
The whole "Send Me an Angel" song. Yeah.
I literally tee you up for the perfect way to go after him, and you go to Rad the movie.
I'm going. Don't do it, Paul. No.
Don't do
Run
what?
For nothing. Run for office, man. Crazy.
Oh no, I think he's nuts too. I would never do it.
I just had that quote from Trojo. My mind is telling me no.
Man, that's just going. Hey, I love trouble. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to try to run the Parks and Rec.
Would you vote for him, Captain?
Dun, 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 dun.
I can tell you right now, we shared very different values. So I don't hold it against anybody that doesn't share my values. I know how unpopular
I wouldn't
abortion
vote for Paul.
position is.
The only reason I wouldn't vote for Paul, you don't need to be out there, bro. That's just going. Hey, I ran naked through a strip club before. No.
Oh yeah, that's not on my resume.
No, it should be though.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I never
what
did
qualifications do you have that the other candidates don't have? Well, I did run a strip club.
A pulse. I got a pulse.
You don't
What's
mention those things because you got to be unburdened by what has been.
What's on your mind tonight, there, Captain? What's going on in the land of the captain?
I'm just calling you idiots.
You and the wife survived that election, okay? No over the top vitriolic reaction.
Let me tell you. I knew Trump was going to win. This is already. I knew that was a given. As soon as he got hit in the ear by, a piece of glass or whatever, and jumped up and went fight.
We do call that a bullet, but okay, glass is fine.
That wasn't a bullet.
Even the FBI said it was a bullet, and they hate Trump.
The FBI hates Trump.
Anyway,
yeah,
it might have been a fraction. Anyhow, no. But when he went fight, I went, oh, that's done. And then the debate, he went. Biden goes, yeah, no. I knew it was over, so it was no big deal.
So you didn't think Kamala Harris had a chance, huh?
Not a chance in hell, but it is what it is.
But why did you vote for Trump if you don't like him so much?
I didn't vote for Trump.
That's not what Paul told me. Paul said you voted for Trump happily.
Oh, Lord.
And
No,
that your wife was mad at you because you voted for Trump and she doesn't like him.
I voted for Gandhi.
For Gandhi?
Yeah. I mean, that dude has a shot. Seriously, he's a dark horse, but he's got a shot.
Probably more like Biden than
he's
you
out
think.
there.
One's near death and one is dead, but okay.
Gandhi's not dead. He just moved on. Come on now. He's getting enlightened.
I can't argue with that.
By the way, have you guys heard what Biden committed to this weekend? He
Yeah, I'm
committed
down for it.
Extra pancakes.
He's gonna go visit Africa as president to help counter China's deepening influence in the region. Because what seems more appropriate than a guy who can't remember his name going to Africa in the waning hours of a dead end presidency? He's just collecting frequent flyer points at this point.
Listen,
I thought you were talking about the Hunter pardoning thing.
We talked about that.
We
earlier.
talked about it earlier. Strangely, I think we're all pretty much okay with it for different reasons.
I don't care, man. Rock's on. What's he gonna do? He's not running for nothing ever again. He'll be dead by next year. Who cares?
Damn.
The only issue I think, and I don't want to speak for everybody else in here. I think the one issue right now hanging over President Biden's head is the fact that he has okayed. Well, no, the fact that he's okayed the escalations in Ukraine, that's problematic. But only time will tell, right?
You know what? The captain knows everything. Ain't nothing gonna happen. There ain't no nuke. Nobody's gonna nuke nobody. Nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna go, it's gonna fade out, and then next year we're gonna be watching YouTube on some new podcast guy. Jake Paul's gonna fight some 90-year-old.
It'll be scripted too.
Oh man, that fight was crap.
It was pretty bad, wasn't it?
That fight went exactly the way I said it was going to.
Hey, Captain, who would win in a boxing match between you and Paul?
Me, because I cheat. And I'm fat now.
All right, Captain. We love you, man. We're coming up against top of the hour break. Call anytime, will you?
All right, kids.
All right.
Fun.
Take care. Have a good night.
There goes the big Trump supporter, the captain. Big fan of President Orange.
I've never met anybody in my life that can throw back as much beer as that captain. I'm not sure how I'd feel about being on that boat. Brother can pound them.
Your dog's being very loud over there. Do they have something they want to say on the show? Is that what's going on?
She just asked me if she could pee on your shoe. She didn't like you.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Most bitches.
I told her.
Most bitches don't.
I told. First of all, that's an appropriate title for her.
I know.
But
that's why I said it.
She's getting spayed soon, so
Oh.
that'll be good. She had 2 litters of pups. 2 litters of pups. Yep. Yeah.
They're beautiful dogs and they're tremendously smart.
Yep. Very smart,
but very vocal.
They are.
They're also crazy high energy.
They are.
Yeah.
100%.
Unlike their master, who is asleep by 7:00 at night.
Who told you when I go to bed, huh?
Your wife and I have a conversation about you all the time. She calls me all the time. Kevin, I don't know what to do about Paul. Do you have any advice?
Are you the one that told her to buy the little blue pills?
I told her to crunch them up, put them in your scrambled eggs. Is what I told her.
No, it's close to what she did. She put them in my stew.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I was walking with a limp for a week.
That's right. You know what happens when Paul with an erection walks into a wall? He breaks his nose. Let's bring Boss Baby back on the line. Hello, Boss Baby.
You're in rare, rude, and disrespectful form tonight, aren't you?
It's been this way for a couple
I
of
was
weeks.
gonna say, is this new?
Well, it's a little worse now than it has been.
Normally, it's not this bad.
I'm pretty Frito right now. I'm pretty crunchy. So yeah.
2 more
Change
weeks.
your underwear, dude.
2
That'll
more
help.
weeks.
Oh, I know. I got 2 more weeks left in this class, and then I need a breather. That's what I need. 2 weeks left in this class. I saw it. I got 2 weeks left in this class. Then I need a breather, and then I'll be okay. I just got to make it through this class.
There you go.
That's all I got to do. All right, Paul's leaving the show to go take care of his bitch. I mean, his dog. When we come back, we'll get into some other topics. We'll also continue with Boss Baby. Boss Baby, how did you celebrate your birthday?
By having a fairly non-eventful day.
You didn't go get drunk or
I don't really do that much anymore. I did
were
have a
you,
drink.
were you sad because your team lost? And did that put any kind of a damper on your birthday spirits?
Only in the morning. Then I lived.
Shook it off.
Yeah, it was fine.
Made like T Swift.
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a minute on that one.
I've worked hard on this show for 25 years and I have a Taylor Swift reference, and you've just ruined the trend.
What?
There you go.
I've tried not to have Taylor Swift references on the show.
Kevin talks about working hard, and I'm just envisioning all the women.
What's wrong with Swifty?
I don't work hard with women at all.
That's not what I was talking about at all.
I
was referencing a song.
Minimal effort, man. Minimal effort, minimal expectations. Set the bar low, they'll never be disappointed.
With that in mind,
stick around.
What if we paid for Lilat to go on a date with you? That might be
more Outlaw Radio Network coming around the corner after this.
You want to go on a date, Kevin?
As we talk about my personal life, obviously, because
we'll put the money out. Lilat can take you on a date somewhere.
Because Paul is clearly not going to let this go. It's Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
Say it.
I thought it was Holly. Outlaw
Say
Radio
it.
Network.
Holly's difficult.
Hey, by the way, I want to give you guys some help here. This Boss Baby, this might come in handy for you. Because do you have a cat or just Buckeye?
I don't have. Do I have a cat? Really?
I'm just asking.
Cat.
I've been to your house in years.
At least not with the lights on.
Okay. If you have cats and you want to keep the cats out of your Christmas tree, the best way to do that is to put orange peels.
Orange peel works good
at the base of your tree, and that should keep them away from it. Cats hate citrus.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
I just saw it on CNN.
Oh.
What else do you see on CNN?
Hair clippings keep.
Can I just say?
No, they
It's
don't.
weird that they make
Oh,
bathroom
They
spray
didn't work for me.
in
What
a
was it?
citrus smell.
Say that again.
It's weird they make bathroom spray in citrus-like smells, because isn't that like citrus?
It's citrus.
Citrus.
I gotta remember that word. That's a good one.
Some of the citrus cleaners are really good. And yeah, I get it from Georgia Pacific citrus.
No, that's
scented.
good stuff, man.
Breaking news.
You bet.
Although there's a little trouble that the elevator at the sea
We have
films,
breaking news?
they
We have
put all
breaking
these
news.
bathroom fresheners in the ceiling.
The ones that just go.
Breaking news.
No, just to
breaking
make-
news.
make
Breaking
sure-
news.
Lori's just going to say breaking news over and over and over again until someone acknowledges her existence. What do you got, Lori?
Lila said thanks, but no thanks.
Well, that's racist. Just because he was formerly a woman, and sexist because, I thought they weren't supposed to be able to do that.
Well,
Haven't we heard about that?
Why they wouldn't want to take me on a date? Like, they just said no thanks. They didn't say why. I mean,
No,
it may
but-
not have anything to do with that. It might have to do with the fact that maybe they're in a relationship. Maybe they.
Maybe it's the fact you have an Adam's apple. I don't know, but that's
All
still.
I'm just saying. You're assuming why their answer was no.
Yeah, but listen, I think you're missing my point, Kevin.
What's your point?
My point is, do you remember last year when it was pointed out that if you refused to go out on a date with somebody
Sure.
that was that it was the opposite sex?
If that was the reason why.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was never. It wasn't if that's the reason why. It was just if you refuse to do it, then you're X, Y, and Z. Right.
But again, maybe they're in a relationship. Maybe that's why they said no.
I didn't ask if she was in a relationship.
Maybe they detest me because of my
because
radio
the answer
persona.
then would have been actually I'm in a relationship, so I can't. Not just
Not
no.
necessarily.
Now, I know about X and Y. What's Z? I mean, I know you're X and Y.
Anal.
Jesus.
Oh,
I walked right into that, didn't I?
Speaking of
Yes, you
anal,
did.
hold on. Speaking of anal, Boss Baby, do you ever plan on meeting J. Andrew Kennedy?
Dude.
I know why you asked that, surprisingly.
Anyway.
I am not planning on going to that state that he
No?
lives in.
So they'd have to come out here?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we
sorry.
already talked about that.
I'd love it if J. Andrew Kennedy was in the chat right now because we'd have him video in as well. And we'd let you two meet on air right now. I'm going to find him.
Since Boss Baby is here,
Yes.
this year when you get ready to do the cancer stuff.
No,
She's
we'll
not
talk
doing-
about that later, Paul.
Okay. All right.
But yes, this year might be transitioning to the burn.
Oh, she's transitioning. She's transitioning.
Fundraising.
Transitioning to the Burn Foundation,
Yeah.
considering everything that's happened.
Yep.
In that fam this year.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Spending 6 weeks in the Burn ICU at Harborview.
I got you.
How's he doing, by the way? You're talking about your sister's husband, and he had
are
a pretty
talking about this,
massive, massive burn injury. How's he doing?
He is doing wonderful. He was at my birthday dinner. We did do a dinner, and he actually hand wrote me a note in my card. And considering he can't fully feel his hands at the moment still, that's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's great.
That's
news.
awesome.
Great news.
He's doing pretty great. And because I was getting a comment in the chat, Robert Parker, I haven't been absent. I just haven't been out in wherever
Public eye. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing I set up the show for everybody every day.
Every time.
And a lot of times she's in
And
she's in the back, in
Right.
like the green room, the kind of the background where we don't bring her live, but she's in there and she's
Mhm.
contributing with us and
Yeah.
stuff.
So I've been around.
We appreciate
but yeah,
you.
I don't always come on air. That's why.
Phil, if you'd appreciate her, you would have given her a Christmas gift from last year. Hold on, stick around. Coming back on AM, it's the Outlaw Radio Network.com.
Dude, you need to get laid.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right.
Hi, my name is Paul Madden.
What a bunch of a-holes.
What kind of feeling?
Oh, I want
You have more pent up sexual
Bye-bye.
frustration than an 8th grader in gym class, dude. Like you, it's like
grader?
uncontrollable for you tonight, man.
I'm full of vim and
Let's
vigor.
just take up a collection and hire him a hooker, okay?
No.
We can do half price if that makes you feel better. I mean, we don't have to spend a lot.
I don't
No.
have any
I'm not
penicillin
putting
at
my
the house.
money towards that.
I know. Think of all the money she spent on beads already. She
Hold on. Tomorrow is Cyber Monday. Just get him a cyber girlfriend.
Right?
Ooh.
Exactly.
We could get him an AI girlfriend. That's a great
Yeah,
idea,
we
Andy.
could.
Yeah.
With a remote control.
Aren't they just at least posable right now here?
Yeah, that's right. What was the old GI Joes used to say with action grip or whatever? Was that what it's called?
The G.I. Joe Kung Fu Grip.
Kung Fu grip. That's what it
Yes.
was. Yeah. I'm gonna get me an online girlfriend with Kung Fu grip.
Good luck.
I think I saw that episode of Big Bang Theory.
I've never seen. Big Bang Theory.
Really?
Ever.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It
is
looks
a
little,
phenomenal show.
It looks a little too nerdy to me.
My wife gets a kick out of it, and she's not too nerdy.
It looks a little too nerdy for me.
It is funny.
You are talking to a ham radio enthusiast.
But that's true. That's true. Never mind, Phil. It's right up your alley, Sheldon.
Jay's never seen an episode.
He knew the name of the character.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he never saw an episode. At this point, I think he's either the biggest BSer because you can't just pull a name like Sheldon out of the hat on a show you've never seen.
No, I've seen all the commercials.
Go BS somebody
TikTok.
else. Is Lila still in the
commercials?
TikTok.
Why are you the way you are, Paul? Why is that?
By the way, Paul, Robert Parker
Yes.
agrees with you. He was
About what's that?
suggesting the same thing, that Kevin needs a hooker for Christmas. So
Guys,
well,
come
listen.
on.
Other men that have experienced this in their life at one time or another, and most men at one time or another have been sexually frustrated. You know, they're like, they don't have that other person in their life laying in bed with them or whatever. And you need to just get that, you need to let that sexual energy out, Kevin. You just need to let it out, not in front of all of us. But
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, you need to just let it out. And so therefore, people like Robert and myself, when we've gone through it, we recognize that level of frustration in another man.
And Rick Eckert has mentioned movie night.
Rick wants to have movie night with me.
Yeah.
We're talking about me being single, and now Rick wants to have movie night with me.
Behind the Green Doors is suggestion. I never heard of that one before.
And Kevin Nelson said that Sophia the robot is single and available.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for piling on with Paul.
Sophia.
That's really helpful. You
Said
schmucks.
Sophia. That is too funny.
Okay, stop it. Look, first of all, I don't want to hear squat.
Do you ever see The World According to Garp?
Hold on, I don't want to hear squat
There's
out
a
of Robert.
great scene in that movie where she's cheating on her husband with a college kid in
Anyway,
a car.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to hear squat out of Robert because Robert was like, "I'll be your wingman. I'm gonna hook you up." Blah blah blah. Never happened. So Robert does not have any room to talk, and neither does Paul.
Oh,
Because
really?
The only woman that Paul ever introduced me to had two eyes looking in different directions.
Wait. First of all, rephrase that and check your words carefully.
What?
Check the words carefully.
You would think after
25 years of radio, he'd know better.
Anyway, can we go back to some topics, Paul? Or would you like to talk more about my social
No,
life?
I don't want to talk about your social life. Clearly, there isn't any.
No,
dude, you could grab some tissue and go to the bathroom. Porn's free. Like, you don't need this much frustration built up inside you, brother. Let it out.
Listen,
let it out.
Listen, here's the deal.
In the toilet.
I have way too much.
Lori said it.
Lori,
Lori
shut
said
up.
it.
I have way too much going on in my life. I have college classes. I have two jobs.
I
have
believe
this
you.
show. I have
believe you.
kids.
But you're basically
I have
become
therapy.
a prick when you come in here now. So I'm just telling you to take 5 minutes and rub one out while you're taking a dump.
Paul,
This isn't hard to do.
man. I don't know how you. Look at Boss Baby. She's like, he's not wrong. Okay. Anyway, whatever.
We all love you.
You guys are
We all love you.
horrible. You're all horrible.
I do have a great topic to talk about, though, unless, of course, you came prepared with one.
Well, I did say put it in the toilet.
Quick
Remember to
warning for everybody. Just
wipe
keep
off
in
the sink
mind that
first.
tonight and tomorrow morning temperatures are expected to be below freezing in many parts of the
Oh,
county.
tonight's the first freezing. Okay.
Yeah, there's,
That's good to know. I appreciate
There's
that.
going to be a lot. There's going to be some fog, and there's a risk of some black ice formulating as well. So if you're out driving in it tonight, or you guys specifically on the show, or tomorrow morning, people who go to work early, just be careful. Give
I
yourself.
do
some extra
appreciate
time.
you telling that. I was wondering about that tonight, driving out, and so that's good.
Do my big tires on my Jeep work better in ice or worse in ice?
It's irrelevant.
Are they siped?
Yeah, are they siped and are they
siped
wide?
the little lines on the little?
It's
things?
the tiny cuts that make them have little edges.
Almost like razor blade, right?
No,
Yeah.
they're not
They kinda-
siped. I don't think they're siped. They're
So,
off-road tires.
It
They could
costs
be
a little-
siped.
Yeah,
we'll look when we get out there, but I don't think they are.
I used to do a lot of 4-wheel drive stuff. Yeah, sipe. You have to It's a process. You have to
Now,
pay extra for.
just for the record, the weather's not that bad because the Kitsap County severe weather shelters are currently closed. So when they open, then we know it's bad.
Then we know, yeah. But no, I've wondered about that with the really big, because I've never had a vehicle with really big tires, and I've noticed I am a little quicker to slide around corners on those if there's like when it's rained.
So
after
you've
it hasn't
got
rained
really
for a long
wide
time.
tires.
Yeah,
You have more surface area to slide on.
Yeah,
siping really helps.
Okay, I'll be sure to ask about that. Who do I ask?
You're
Just going
just
to
tired
going to the
people.
barber shop. Do you guys sipe or what do I do?
No, first you have to
Go
tell
see,
him.
go see my buddy Dave down at Point S.
You have to tell him you're going snipe hunting, and then ask him to sipe your tires.
Here, snipe.
Snipe.
So there's an interesting situation that is developing.
Robert says it's been 28 degrees at his house for the past 3 days, and he's just off of Chico. So there's some elevation there, but it's not a huge elevation, but there's below freezing off of Chico.
Well,
So-
Robert, you'll have to come out to the new paintball park, which will be right in your neck of the woods.
Oh my God! This is what's going to happen when Paul opens a business. Every conversation.
I'm going to be successful. That's what's going to happen.
Every conversation. So, what do you think about Trump's decision to invade Iran? Paul's going to be like, well, I know that Trump's soldiers would have been better trained if they'd come out to my paintball field located out the Kitsap Golf and Revolver Club.
You know what's
he's
funny
gonna
about
work
that?
into every discussion.
That I've been in contact with the USO because
Oh
they're
my God, I
actually
knew
going
it.
to be
I knew
sending U.S. military person out there. But anyway, the situation that's been occurring, and it's
We
kind
have
of
singles night out there.
we absolutely could. There's a lot of women that play.
A lot of women would like to shoot me. I'll tell you that right now.
They could pay me to do it.
Have you been to the Nerf place?
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
I took my son to the not for adults.
Oh, it was a bunch of adults went out and did it for one.
Oh.
Somebody had a birthday party. They wanted to go do the Nerf thing.
Adults did?
Yes, it was great, man.
Wow.
No, it was good fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
would be kind of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Paul. Don't let go of that inner child inside of you.
I know that's you could get in trouble for that.
All right, Jared from Subway.
In all seriousness, though, we've had quite a few people ask us about doing I can't even think of the name
Singles
of it now.
nights?
No, it's not paintball, but it's like where you shoot the little
Airsoft?
pellets. Airsoft, thank you. Yeah. So but we just invested in 250 sets of rental gear, so there's no cash left in the coffers to go buy a bunch of airsoft stuff. But we very well may look at that because would be an option because we have a lot of space.
Well, I think that kind of in a passing phase. I'm not sure though.
It could be. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But anyway, so there's an interesting situation that has been developing.
Boss Baby, would you go play paintball? Is that something up your alley? Would you do that?
If you got to shoot
if I get to shoot you.
Okay, perfect.
absolutely. Done deal.
All right, thank you.
Done deal. In fact, we'll make sure that it happens in a way so that she gets some free shots.
I don't need free shots. I'm just making sure he will be playing also.
He's made it very clear that he will come out to play.
Yeah.
So there we go. We could have a special
time. Is this the first time that Boss Baby's talked about free shots to the face? Is that the first time? I don't. Okay.
Face shots are the most painless.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Boss Baby got the jokes. Nobody else did. But Boss Baby got it.
I will
Didn't
tell
you,
you,
Boss Baby.
I will
you
tell you.
got it, didn't you?
That's
you right
why
now,
I wear glasses.
The best thing for you to wear when you go out and play is jeans that are tight.
Mhm.
Go wear tight jeans when you come out there.
Okay. Tight fitting jeans.
Shut up, Tom.
You're lying.
Wear
by the
tight
way.
jeans. All right.
Why are you lying?
So an interesting set of circumstances that have
Surprise.
I don't want to use this word with Kevin around. Aroused. It has arose.
Arosen.
Yeah. And so I'm curious if you guys have seen it and what do you think? So several mayors around the country have made the rather public statements that they are willing to be arrested and go to jail in order to protect illegal immigrants in their towns and in their cities. So Tom Homan, who President Trump has basically named his border czar, a real one this time, and he's come out and very publicly said can be arranged. Because he's pointed out, look, the law already says if you aid and abet and harbor an illegal immigrant, that's a felony. You can go to jail for that. And he's basically, especially the mayor of Denver, Colorado, has been really public about it.
Yeah.
And he's basically said that's fine. We'll arrest you. We'll put you in jail. And how do you guys listen? on one hand, part of me says that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That these folks need to live their lives under threat because of what they're doing to their communities by harboring these folks. And I'm not heartless, right? I'm not sitting here going,
you are, but go ahead.
these are all bad people or something like that. No, but like I made it very clear, I live by that M&M analogy, right? I mean, if you've got a bowl of 10,000 M&Ms and you know that 100 of them are bad, do you still want to eat any of the M&Ms? If you know that 1/10 of 1% are deadly, it's
Well,
and remember,
that's probably okay. All right.
Look, I mean, I don't know how better
that
else to
analogy is
put,
awful.
You don't
right?
have to like the analogy.
Yeah,
It doesn't make it
analogy's
less
awful.
true, and it's my opinion. But the point is that when you've got the mayor of Denver, Colorado, who says that, and you got Tom Homan who says that's fine, we can oblige you, right? My question to you is, do those actions, not only the mayor saying arrest me, but then the action of Tom Homan saying, okay, we'll arrest you, and go arrest him and pick him up and put him in jail, right? Like, is any of that doing any good in the grand scheme of things, or is it driving a bigger wedge? I suggest that it's driving a much bigger wedge, and it starts with the mayor, right? Shouldn't be pushing the federal government because he already knows it's against the law, right? If you're the governor or you're the mayor and you know that what you're doing is illegal, why push the federal government? It's like an intentional wedge issue. It's an intentional thing to be more divisive.
Well,
when to me that mayor could be better served if he wants to help the illegal immigrants is find a way to get them into a system so that they can be processed properly. Like that makes a lot more sense to me. But what do you guys think?
Well, I think agree with it or not. These mayors are, pardon me. These mayors are they're exercising civil disobedience. I mean, that was something that
you're right.
That Aristotle established, and I mean, hell, he drank hemlock because that was the punishment. So he knew what he was accountable for.
Hemlock was deadly.
It is.
Did it kill him?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the famous last words of Socrates?
Or was it? Am I confusing Socrates and Aristotle? Maybe I am.
Famous last words. I drink what?
Yeah. But I mean, the idea, it doesn't change the idea of civil disobedience. I mean,
which
if
is
not
it's not a bad thing,
right?
I'm
If
there
you don't
with
agree with
Mm-hmm.
something, right? I mean, okay, be civilly disobedient, but you also have to be accountable for your actions.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I mean,
I feel though that's where the disconnect is at, right? Because you're right, and I agree with you. Civil disobedience has its place. The issue then for me becomes now, if you're Tom Homan, and this mayor has said, I have instructed all of my city employees, including law enforcement, to not provide you the assistance they are legally obligated to. Thus, because he runs the risk of placing his own people, including law enforcement, in a position where they are now breaking the law, thus breaking their own oaths of office, right? The trickle-down effect of this affects a lot of people. So I'm looking at this mayor of Denver, Colorado, and going, to me, it's far beyond civil disobedience, right? Because he's the one issuing the orders to his people. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
And those people then may have to suffer the ramifications. I'm really conflicted about this because on one hand, I don't want to see this new border czar come in and have to go arrest the mayor of Colorado. I don't think it serves any good purpose. But if he doesn't, and the mayor continues to tell his people to not cooperate, something's got to give.
Then appeal to the people.
How? How do you mean?
Okay, so if you're undocumented, one of the things that's being floated is we will put you back in Mexico, process you, make it a priority as long as you don't have a prior record.
Gotcha.
And then you
So
come
you're kind of
back-
talking about a way of
right.
of bringing them back in legally and legitimately.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then instead of the court date to eventually come through because you have the fancy app on your phone or you were flown in by the previous administration, instead you go through, you do it legally.
Mm-hmm.
You're not pitting people against other people,
Yeah.
right? You're not pitting communities of documented versus undocumented
Yeah.
against each other because that's what it's going to come to.
Yeah.
And you're not
yeah.
pitting the Republican administration federally against a Democratic
Yep.
local.
No, I'm there with
administration.
you.
And either way, I get the strong talk that Tom Homan is doing. However, if Trump turns into an authoritarian,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a
you're
fine
right on that line
yeah,
that I'm talking about.
You're
Yep.
right on that fine line right now. So you really have to look at it from a different point of view. And so one of the things floated, and I apologize, I cannot remember who floated it, but you put an appeal out. Hey, we will talk to you about citizenship. We will take care of that. We'll get you processed the correct way, not through the app. But in order to do that, we need you to come forward. We need to take you back into Mexico, have you come back in. We will process you correctly.
And so I have an amnesty day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Now,
hold on. Let me
Go
answer
ahead.
to you real quick.
Yep.
I have a lot more respect for these governors if they are willing to be arrested. Meaning, it's easy to make claims and do things when there's no repercussions on yourself if you violate something. If they're that committed to it, that makes me respect them. I don't agree with it, but the fact that they're willing to go to the wall for something they believe in, I think is important.
Well, I mean, that's the premise of civil disobedience,
Right.
though.
Yeah, but I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying
right.
that if they're willing to get arrested because they believe in it that strongly, that means they've at least got some integrity.
Yeah, I mean,
and
right or
some,
wrong.
some values behind them, right or wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, David Koresh was a whack-a-mole, but most people don't die for their beliefs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't agree with it, but I respect the fact that people will be honest and stick by what they believe, regardless of the negative repercussions upon them.
You probably could have found a better
listen
reference point there, but
well, he did
David Koresh.
burned down the church. But it's the rest of it.
Because if he gives the order, I think that there are countless people that would be affected by this to the negative. You're talking about career law enforcement individuals. who-
irrelevant. How many career law enforcement in Germany aided in the rounding up and execution of the Jews because their leadership told them to do it? You do wrong and immoral. You do wrong and immoral things because the government tells you to. It does not absolve you of the
I
responsibility that
agree.
you hold in doing it.
I agree. That's why that
Yeah.
was the point that I'm making about him. Is this isn't just about him, right? He's putting his people in an untenable situation. That's my point. And if he took a path like Lori was, instead of saying, "Well, I'll go to jail," well, he already knows what the outcome of that would be, right? He's trying to score political points over a losing issue. Right. And then at the same time, he's literally endangering the careers of the people working under him that he is ordered to perform in a certain way. So wouldn't he be better served? And wouldn't you have more respect for him if he went out there and tried to find a way, like Lori said, to streamline the process and work with different people to create a process?
I know
Wouldn't
Lori
that
has a
be better?
comment,
Yeah.
but I want to do this really quick. We talk about people working under other people. Boss Baby wants to go to bed. Hello, Boss Baby. Did you want to say goodnight?
Wow, Kevin.
Wait, you're muted. Unmute your mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
Could have rubbed one off at any time.
That's ridiculous.
We love you, Boss Baby. Happy birthday,
night,
day
Boss
late.
Baby.
Hey, happy birthday, belated.
Happy birthday.
Later.
You have a good night, dear.
Yes, you do.
And how did Ohio State do against Michigan yesterday?
Oh, Kevin.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow, even to me, Kevin, that's low.
Wow.
Love you. Good night.
Open wound.
Toilet paper, Kevin.
Good
Single
night.
for a
Damn.
reason.
All right, no, she's gone. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the other thing, while I agree with the civil disobedience bent that the mayor would like to take, I think it's foolhardy at this point. Okay, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to spark civil war? Because that's
Drives takes that
why-
wedge that exists, man. Freaking
why?
opens it wound like a
Why? Yeah. Why are
Yeah.
we being so divisive? Because now at this point, it's no longer about the undocumented or documented people that are living in the city of Denver.
Yeah.
It's now all about that mayor scoring points, like you were saying, Paul.
Yeah.
It's all about Tom Homan being tough
And-
on illegal immigration.
And that is one of the things that Trump was elected on, right? And Holman has been very clear. He's like, this is what the law is. We're
Sure.
going to follow the law. I'm not going to do anything but follow the law.
Right.
And the law says if you're here illegally, this, and this happens.
Yeah.
And he says, and these are the consequences if you interfere with that or you harbor or blah, 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 blah. he has to do this way because it's what he ran on. It's what got him elected. He had a mandate from the American people. They said, we want this done. Okay. So to me, Tom Homan is a bit of a hard ass.
Yeah.
Maybe he's being too hard about it, but he's going to do what he was elected to do.
Well,
what he was put in there to do.
Keep in mind, it's easy for the governors right now to say this because there is.
You mean until January 20th?
Well, no.
You think the tune will change?
Until whenever, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because right now there's no federal law that prevents sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. So right now they're acting from a point of, well, I can say whatever I want to. There's no repercussions. If the feds pass a law that bans that. Let's see how many of those people change their tunes. That'll be interesting. Hold on.
The purse strings.
We'll keep it going. Hold on. Outlaw Radio. Stick around. More of the show after this.
Welcome back. Outlaw Radio Network.com.
We're back.
We're back.
All right. So we'll continue this.
So I wanted to bring something up because we had a conversation about this topic last week, and we were looking for different laws and trying to say we were talking about sanctuary cities and everything, right? And we couldn't really find much, could we? But Tom Homan did say something interesting in an interview that he did, and here's what I want to bring up. First of all, yes, harboring an illegal immigrant is a felony. So this whole idea, there are other laws. There may not be a law specifically that says you can't be a sanctuary city, but there are other laws that apply to the exact same thing, right? And this is one of them. If you harbor an illegal immigrant, it is a felony. Penalties for harboring an illegal immigrant include up to 1 year in prison, up to 10 years in prison for bringing in an authorized alien for financial gain. So if you're an employer and you bring somebody in, okay, up to 10 years in prison for smuggling an illegal alien into the country, 5 years in prison for transporting an alien illegally. Let that sink in for a bit. And what we know that the Biden-Harris organization, regime, whatever you want to call them, has been doing by flying these people all around the country. Up to 5 years in prison for hiring 10 or more unauthorized aliens. Up to 20 years in prison if the unauthorized alien you helped cause a serious bodily injury and endanger someone's life. Let that sink in, right? And up to life in prison if violating these laws results in someone's death.
All right,
we have some really friendly Venezuelans coming in.
Hold on. We're coming back on the AM side in just a moment. It's Outlaw Radio
Network.com.
God damn it.
I don't think God feels that way.
I'm gonna scream.
Way to go. Way to go, Jackwagon.
Who?
You.
Why?
Just because.
What I do?
Just read the chat. You'll understand. Just read the
I'm
not
looking
that
at the
chat.
chat. What chat?
Not that chat. Our private chat. What a schmuck. You're such a schmuck. Oh, man. Just
Oh no!
special kind of Jackwagon.
We have to do it again. Hold on, everybody. Give me your substitute.
We don't have to do it now.
No.
We don't have to do it
I'm
now.
not giving my name back.
Must
No,
be
you
present.
have to give your name back.
No, I can't.
Must be present to win.
You have to give your name back.
No.
Yes,
can't.
you do.
Nope.
Just hand them all in. Come on. We left Trojo out. Now I didn't even think about Trojo because he didn't show up for the show tonight, even though he's supposed to be at every Sunday show because that's what he said he was going to do. He didn't let anybody know he wasn't coming. He just no-showed.
Hey,
so I need everybody else's tags
Weren't we
back.
just
Come on.
talking about how, consequences of your actions? Yeah.
No, come on. Give me your tags back. Come on.
Anybody else going to say it? Anybody? You're all thinking it. You're all thinking it.
Come on. Give me your tags back. Come on.
I want this.
I don't
one
care if
back.
you want that name. It has to. We have to be inclusive.
I'll play along.
Why are you guys against allowing the African American member of our team to be a part of our
Pretty
funding?
sure that's why you left him out.
I thought you were leaving out the short people.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
I'm just curious who you had. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, too.
You were so getting a sex doll.
Would you go get Phil's?
Who are you talking
Laura,
to?
would you grab
I had drawn Kevin, and I swear we were going to open those presents live on air, and the look on Kevin's face when he opened up Gloria, the plastic trans woman, with like 4 holes.
And I had Lori.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh.
All right. I had Paul.
I had Andy.
Oh, did you?
Oh, that's why you wanted it.
Yeah,
That's...
because I was going to make sure she got a good gift.
All right, we'll re-pull these in a second, and then I'll have Phil. What is this? Why are you writing on this?
She was making notes. She thought it was hers.
Hold on, take that.
Are you
I'm gonna
kid-
make a
Look
new
at
one
that
for her.
paperwork, man. Lori takes copious amounts of
I was
notes.
giving Paul notes
Oh,
about
yes.
something because this is almost 95% confirmed.
Talk right in the microphone for Christ's sakes.
I can't.
That
It's
is-
something else.
I mean, that's super fascinating if that does end up occurring. I would absolutely.
All right.
It's from a trusted source.
I'll believe you.
Yep. Do I get to keep this now?
No, I put it on a different piece of paper. You can keep that slip, but that's not who you have.
Fine.
It's not who you have. All right, so we
Can't
will
believe-
have.
I think
I'll
he
have.
he left out the.
We'll have
African
Phil
American on
draw
purpose.
for
The
both.
short man.
Yep.
We'll have Phil draw for both.
Sizeism.
Yeah.
Sexism. racism.
Ism.
All coming from one ism.
What?
All right, let's
An
see
ism
what
that you could have rubbed out
Phil,
in
would you
5
come in here?
minutes.
Phil, would you come in here?
I-
Phil,
Wow.
would you come in here, Phil?
Is that all? Just 5 minutes?
I mean, when you're living alone and single
Well,
for so long.
All right.
We'll do the drawings now.
Okay. So back to the conversation about my beautiful dog.
All right. So hold on.
You know, in all seriousness,
just drew
she's an
one.
absolute
Christmas
angel.
dogs are the best.
Yes. And my
There you go.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nobody's ordered on Amazon. We're doing the radio
Andy,
show.
Andy might have already.
Well, would you?
that would be something else, wouldn't it? You better let her know right
message
away.
now. I'm gonna send her a message now.
Yeah, you better text her.
Hang on,
Yeah,
make
I know.
sound of me.
Okay. Cool. Hold on. Let me check them. Make sure. All right. Oh,
No, draw.
I did.
No, you picked one out that you wanted. Draw right.
I did draw right, goofball.
Did you guys watch him? Did he draw right?
Yeah,
he
did.
drew right.
He did.
Ah, you're such a schmuck.
He might have even used the wrong hand.
$25 limit. So hold on.
Which you can also do in 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, perfect.
Well, I was thinking more about that article I put in the
Can we
chat a
trade?
while ago.
I want the person I had before.
Um,
Did
All right.
you get her?
We cannot. We're not going to say who we got.
Well, you almost traded with me.
I
so
did not almost trade with you. All right, go ahead, Paul.
hell, dude, I don't remember what I said. Oh, so the funny story was, right, is that things were so between my ex-wife and my wife Katie and I and the kids and everything, because my ex-wife was trying to take the kids from me, right? And now she didn't have a reason to, she just decided she wanted to. But a long story short is that they had taken some steps that were, and they tried to do it anonymously, if you know what I'm saying, and it backfired on them in a really big way. But as a result of the steps that they had taken, they knew what road I lived on, where the 40 acres was at, the property.
Mm-hmm.
But I made them do the child exchange down the road at the gas station because I did not want them to know where my house was. I
Right.
did not want to be harassed.
Right.
And so the day before we got her, they had actually tailed me and followed me with the kids. They dropped both boys off to me, and then I drove to Safeway, and we noticed that they were following us on the road. And I'm like, yeah, they're trying to figure out where we live. And so I said, all right, boys, we're gonna go get some groceries. Let's go get some stuff. So we went to Safeway in Belfair, right? And as my sons and I are coming out of the Safeway in Belfair, there's two deputies sitting there waiting for me, and they call my name, and I'm like, well, this is odd. Okay, hi guys, what can I do for you? You know. And so they asked to talk to me away from my boys and everything. They said, yeah, we got a call that you picked up your kids and you were driving drunk. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no. So we came here to investigate. He goes, now we did tell the person who called. I said, my ex-wife. He's like, oh yeah. Is this her name? Yeah, that's her name. Oh, I said, let me ask you a question. Would you let your kids get into a car with somebody that was drunk and drive down the road with them? Well, no, we did find that a little bit odd. You think? So literally had a 30-second conversation with them. They were totally cool and professional about the whole thing, you know? And they literally told me, they said, we're going to make this suggestion to you, Mr. Madden. Because I told them, I'm like, I don't want her to know where I live, right?
Mhm.
I said, that's why she's following me. She's trying to use this as a way to, anyway, long story short. So he goes, we're going to go ahead and hold them here. We'd like to talk to them about filing a false police report. And you go ahead and go. And you guys have a nice Christmas. Well, my kids were right there. They saw the whole thing. They saw mom follow. They saw the cops there when we came out of the store, right?
Right.
I had a 17-year-old and a 7-year-old, man. And my 7-year-old was just devastated. He's not an idiot. And he's like, mom did that, right? So anyway, the next day, and it was coincidental because we were trying to adopt this dog from this guy, and he called us like an hour after this whole incident occurred and was like, "Can you come get her tomorrow?" So we made like a 6-hour round trip down to Vancouver and picked her up and brought her back. And so she really was a Christmas miracle. And like I say, she's the sweetest dog in the world. But as a healer, she has one habit, and that is when she's trying to get your attention, she will nip you. She'll nip you in the butt. She'll nip you in the calf.
She just did.
Yeah. So, and that's her way of talking. It's just how she's just. It's just her communication anyway.
Oh yeah,
So.
she was mad. I stopped petting her.
Okay. Yes.
My dad's got 2 border collies. They have lots.
They're
of
even
them.
smarter.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
But they have the same kind of mentality. One of my dad's older border collie, his name's Ruger, and
Good name.
Yeah, the younger one's Remington. So the older one, Ruger, when he was a pup, my niece and nephew were both in their like late teens, and my niece would get a little sassy once in a while with my dad. And my dad would sick Ruger on her, and he would go intentionally nip her in the butt every time my dad told him to.
Right? Isn't
it
that
was hilarious?
That's what she does. She does not like the kids and I roughhousing.
Oh, really?
And if I roughhouse with the kids, she will let me know that's not okay, and I'm automatically to blame.
Oh, that was my dog that just passed.
Yes. The beautiful one that you had a very touching, loving tribute to.
Loki was my buddy.
Yeah.
But my wife and I would goof around at home and we'll play hit each other, and Loki would get mad at me.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And then we would goof around and I would play hit her.
Yes.
And Loki would get mad at me.
Yes, right.
Yeah. And then we tried it once and only once. We play hit with Isaac, and Loki didn't take it as a joke.
Right.
It was like, do not touch my boy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Only thing, the wife and I were talking, we're getting older, and I'm 52, going to be 53 and stuff. And, she's 7 years younger than me, but she's like, this might be this group of animals, these dogs, when they pass, she was like, we may be done. And I said, look, we're going to be older. And I said, and we're still going to have the farm and stuff. So I said, I still need some dogs. So I said, at our age, I think there's only really one breed, that would be appropriate for us, and I'm gonna get 2 of them, a male and a female, Kragans, or Kagans. Yeah, they have the largest force of bite in the world. And they're herd dogs, from not herding dogs, but they're like livestock protection animals. They're a very large breed, 150 to 180 pounds. Yeah. So when you see the dogs that look similar to German Shepherds, but they're a little bit lighter and they have the big spikes on the collars, that's kind of where that originated. And they're from the Pakistan, Afghanistan area. But anyway, I'm going to get 2. I'm going to name the boy Once Bitten and the girl Twice Shy. Because I think it would just be the coolest thing in the freaking world, right? Step out on the porch and just call out their names, right? Be badass. So, yeah. And then Katie found out how much they weigh and what size they were, and she was like, "Oh hell no!"
The food bill would be significant,
right?
Yeah,
right. Well, it's like a lion has a 690 pounds per square inch bite force, right? 690 pounds. The Kagans are like 780 pounds per square inch. So they're like, they're
with hyenas.
They're a beat. Yeah, they are a beat down animal for sure. But anyway,
Phil, you had something?
Bless you in advance. Bless you. Oh, see, he almost stopped when I said bless you. That's the power of St. Paul.
Reminds me, speaking of naming dog, you hear about that preacher had 3 dogs for his kids?
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shirley, Goodness, and Mercy. They followed the kids everywhere.
Oh, for the love of God.
Don't call me Shirley.
Shirley.
Do
you know what movie that joke is from? Do you remember the movie?
Yes,
you wouldn't, and
Airplane.
you would never remember. You wouldn't remember crap, Kevin.
Oh, I've seen Airplane.
What?
Forever ago.
Which one?
The first one. Okay. I've seen the first one.
But
it was forever ago.
It was, I haven't seen it in probably decades.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Leslie Nielsen fan, so
I never was either.
Yeah.
And it was,
what was
kind
the
of
kid's name on the plane? The little boy that went to the
oh hell, I don't remember.
Jimmy.
Tommy.
Tommy. You ever seen a grown man naked? That to this
yeah.
day is just yeah.
That
of
movie,
all the
it's-
things he remembers.
that and Blazing Saddles, movies that just could not be remade today.
Never saw Blazing
No.
Saddles.
That's
You need to see Blazing
Okay.
Saddles.
No, another
Kevin.
another series that couldn't be made today? MASH.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kevin.
The
I did
original Bad News Bears, never gonna happen.
I did an intro, a video intro years ago for this show.
Mhm.
And I used clips from Blazing Saddles.
I thought you used clips from what was that? The Chevy Chase one with the three amigos. I thought that was one you used. Clips
No,
from.
I used clips from Blazing.
No.
You remember the
Never
part where I
seen it.
introduced you? Okay, for those that don't know or those that have seen the movie, you remember the guy that rode the bull into town?
Mongo.
Mongo. Yeah, and the
Mongo.
bull had yes on one side of the ass cheek and no on the other side. And so when I clipped the film in, it said and introducing K-Dog, and it was Mongo riding into town on his bull. Do you remember that? That's the movie, or the one
Still haven't seen
where,
it.
well, where Jeremy was the sheriff. We all know how that went in
A
that
black
movie.
sheriff?
Yeah,
I'm not. It worked in Blazing Saddles.
that's right. I will
That's
show
another
it to you
movie.
when we leave tonight. I will pull it up. I will show you the video intro that I did all those years ago for this show. I can't believe you don't remember. You'll remember when you see it.
I'm sure I will. I remember the one that you made that you intentionally went out of your way to make me look really fat. I remember
Dude,
that.
you were
That
always
was
eating.
part of-
You got
that
so
was
mad.
Part
'cause-
of what inspired me to lose all that weight was because of how you.
well, then good.
embarrassed
That's
me
what friends are
publicly.
for.
Yeah.
But he got so
hate
mad
you.
at me, you guys, because I kept making these video intros and stuff. He's like, every time you pick out a video of me, I'm eating something. Dude, you
No,
were
that-
always eating something.
He gets the good video of himself looking all like Paul and regal or whatever you want to call it, and then he finds one of me, and it happens to be me,
That's nice,
me
dude.
drinking something out of a 7-Eleven cup.
That's
Like,
because you always had Slurpees.
well,
So what you're saying is you need to catch up and make some video entries.
I just listen. Paul's
What I'm
life
hearing.
would not be Paul's life if he wasn't trying to make me look like a Neanderthal dimwit dumbass. Okay, so everything that Paul
Can we
strives
break,
to
can
do
we
in his
break
life
that down, please?
is to make me look like a Neanderthal dimwit dumbass. That's Paul's goal.
There is nothing
And if I ever-
Neanderthalic about you.
And if I ever had a serious relationship with a woman, she'd certainly never meet Paul.
Or a man,
because the
right?
minute that she met Paul would do his best to embarrass me, make me look bad, and have her dump me.
So first of all, I love everybody that's
Paul
listening to
does
the
not
show.
want me to be happy
Kevin
in a
cannot
relationship.
sit here in good conscience and say that I have ever done that. I ran wingman.
No, because
for
I
you.
don't ever bring
I
girls
ran
around you
wingman
anymore.
for you on a date when you ran off on the date in the middle of the date,
That
and
was
I still kept it
15
going.
years ago.
Yeah, but some things never, ever, ever are forgiven.
That one's clearly frozen in time
Absolutely
because
frozen.
he just won't let it go,
right
I
there.
I've seen Frozen.
and he won't
Parts
let
of
it go.
Parts of it.
But no, you got me on that one. I've never seen Frozen.
Anyway, so
I have Teen
do we
Mom.
have our
Someone
football?
else.
It's 10:45. Do we got our football picks?
Yes.
ready
Do
to
that
go?
now?
Yes.
We don't
No,
get to go
no,
till
tomorrow.
12:30 or nothing.
No,
now?
look, it's going to be you said it's going to be icy. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I got to
Oh
get up
my
early and
God.
receive a ton of corn in the morning.
So much. We've only done
Wait, hold
you
on,
know,
Tom.
a little bit past
How are you exactly receiving a ton of corn?
From a truck.
rectally.
Oof.
We've always done a little bit past 11 o'clock, always, but you guys act like it never happened before.
Not
It's just-
always.
You said it was going to be icy.
Not always.
It's always been after.
No, not always.
Not always.
There are
No.
some nights you're not here.
Not on Sunday. Well,
Yeah, no.
by the way, just a reminder, I will not be here Wednesday. I'll be missing
guarantee you the show be
every
done at
Wednesday.
9 o'clock,
every Wednesday in December. I'll be out,
and there will be
And
no Christmas
Me
music.
too.
but I will. I'll call in to open the show. How's that?
No, that's not necessary.
I'll call.
What?
I'll try to call in to open the show.
You got to save your voice. You're singing.
You.
All right. Football picks. I can't believe I'm going to say this to start. So,
Who won this week?
Lori
Well,
had
not
an
only-
amazing week.
not only did Lori win, and there's still one game pending, the Cleveland-Denver game tomorrow. But
What did I select? by the way,
every
for that? 'Cause I
game,
can't read it.
every game that Lori picked that's been played so far, she won.
Damn.
The only thing that she missed,
That's not. Nobody's ever done that. I
no,
don't think.
the only thing she missed was her double down because
Well.
she split her double down.
Yeah.
Oh, she hedged the bets on that.
She hedged her bet. So
you
was
picked a perfect week.
It was
So
Arizona.
far-
No, she doesn't have a perfect week because she didn't get her double down. So you don't get to call it perfect
Wow.
unless you get your double down.
I'm still going to give her the perfect week, though, because that never
I mean,
happens.
Arizona, Minnesota. She picked Minnesota, then she picked Arizona to double down. So
well-
she could have easily had a perfect week.
Yeah.
Could have, but I mean, if you're hedging your bets, because sometimes that's smart. She still had a perfect week.
Otherwise, Dennis had 14, I had 14, Paul had 14, Lori had 15.
Damn.
So we all had.
So
really
I was
good-
only one off from a perfect week?
No, you were 2 off in the perfect week, but you got your double down.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So and then Trojo had 10, Tom had 9.
Damn, Trojan's falling further and further behind, dude.
Lori did better than Vegas.
Like Tom Holman, he'll
Nice.
find a way to get all those illegals to come back across the border, have them make a quick stop at the special camps where they get registered and take a shower before moving on.
Yeah, Vegas line was 14 as well.
Somebody
so
got- you got it.
Me, Paul, and Dennis all tied the Vegas line. So where things stand is exactly where they stood before as far as first place is Dennis with 146. I am 6 back in second with 140. Lori has moved into third with 139. She leapfrogged
That's
Paul at
impressive. That's
137.
good.
Tom at 128. Trojo bringing up the rear at 126.
Nothing uncommon there.
Dennis is still ahead of the Vegas line, by the way, which is amazing.
That is
to be
amazing.
better than the Vegas line. All right, that means if he had gone to Vegas, he'd be winning. So here we go. Your Week 14 picks Thursday night. This should be a good one. Green Bay travels to Detroit to take on the Lions, who are just playing really well.
They are. Seattle gave him a good game, too, man, early in the season.
Yeah. Did you see what they did to Chicago?
No, I did
They
not.
beat the crap out of them early, and then Chicago was able to score some points late in the game to make it look reasonable, but Detroit was beating the snot out of them in the first half. Paul, Detroit hosting Green Bay.
I'm going to I want to take Green Bay, but I got to go with Detroit.
I got Detroit as well. It's at home. If it was a Green Bay, I'd think otherwise. Tom?
No, Detroit.
Lori, and I sent Dennis, but he hasn't picked. Oh, hold on.
You know that our Seattle
Okay.
Seahawks are the number 3 seed in the
He's
playoff
going
race right
to.
now.
Dennis will give me his
Yeah.
picks later. Well, yeah, number 3 seed only because.
No, they're the 3 seed. That's legit, man.
No, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Lori, who
I
you
mean,
got?
Lions,
Two tough wins on the road.
Tigers, and Bears.
Oh my!
While the Jets shouldn't have been tough.
All right, Jacksonville at Tennessee. Normally I pick Jacksonville, but we saw what happened to Trevor Lawrence, their starting quarterback. How he got knocked out.
I mean, we did that pansy ass slide there and couldn't handle a tackle.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. Tom? And by the way, Tennessee is favored in Vegas, by the way. So, Tom?
Where are they playing?
In Tennessee.
In Tennessee. Okay, give me Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Who do you got, Tom?
Give me Tennessee.
Lori
Titans.
and Paul.
Okay. Tennessee.
Tom?
Oh,
Trojo's picked as well. Trojo picked Detroit and Tennessee as well. Tom, the Jets at Miami.
Give me Miami.
Well, Miami looks really bad in Green Bay on Thanksgiving Day. But they cannot win in cold weather games.
Yeah, they're
Lori?
going to be in Miami, you said,
Yeah, they'll be
right?
in Miami.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Trojo picked Miami as well. Paul?
This is a tough one. Who's playing?
This is
The
a tough
Jets
game.
in
Who is it, by
Miami.
the way?
The Jets are in Miami?
In Miami.
Oh, Miami.
Something that's not so tough, huh, Paul? Lori
Yes.
at Atlanta, traveling to Minnesota.
Vikings. All day, every day.
Trojo picked Minnesota as well. Paul?
Minnesota.
I got Minnesota also. Tom?
Yeah, give me Minnesota.
Right now, we have not picked any games separately through the first 4.
Right.
All right, New Orleans at the Giants. Trojo has picked New Orleans. Paul, who says you?
New Orleans.
Yeah, me too. Giants are awful, man. Tom?
You know I'm going to pick the Saints.
Go marching in. Lori?
Saints.
All right. Carolina at Philadelphia. Philadelphia won 6 in a row. They're hosting Carolina. Trojo picked Philadelphia. Paul?
Philly.
I got Philly as well, Tom.
Philly.
And Lori.
Philly.
All right. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Paul?
Pittsburgh.
I got Pittsburgh as well, Tom.
Cleveland.
Does it surprise anybody that Pittsburgh suddenly looks like a good team with Russell as quarterback? Like, he's kind of resurged his career a little bit there. If I was Wilson, I would stay in Pittsburgh. Lori?
Steelers.
All right, we finally picked one different, although Tom's going to lose because he picked Cleveland. Las Vegas at Tampa Bay. I'm going to pick Tampa because the Raiders are awful. Tom?
Yeah, oh, Tampa. Yeah.
Lori?
Buckaroos.
And Paul.
Bucks.
Georgia picked Tampa Bay as well. Tom.
Hi.
Seattle at Arizona.
We got it. Yeah, him and the Hawks.
Lori?
Hawks.
Georgia picked Seattle as well. The Vegas line is Arizona, Paul.
I'm taking Seattle.
Okay.
I think they're going to do it.
I'm taking Arizona. They're in Arizona, and Seattle has got to fix some of their, especially the special teams issues they had today. Like,
yes.
you can't do
No.
a
you cannot
bad
play
team like the
that.
Jets. You can come back from that.
Yeah.
An average to maybe a little above average team like the Cards.
That.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Tom, pick first on that one. Lori, Buffalo at the LA Rams.
Bills.
Georgia picked the Bills as well. Paul?
I'm going to take the Bills because I want them to win.
Okay. I got Buffalo as well, Tom.
Yeah. Where are they playing again?
They're playing in LA.
They're at, yeah, give me the Rams.
What?
Okay. This is an interesting game. I don't know how to pick this one. Chicago at San Francisco. The Vegas line is San Francisco, but the rumor is now coming out that Christian McCaffrey is out for the remainder of the year with a PCL injury.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's verified or not, but that's the word on the internet, and the Google machine never lies. Chojo picked San Francisco. Lori?
I'm still going to go with San Francisco.
Okay. Paul?
Who's San Francisco playing again?
They're hosting Chicago.
Chi-town.
Yeah.
But Chicago looked bad on the first 3 quarters of Thanksgiving Day.
I'm going to go with
They
Chicago
just fired their head
because
coach.
I think there's too much turmoil in Chicago.
So you are picking Chicago because there's turmoil?
No, there's too much turmoil in Chicago. I'll take San Fran.
Yeah, for the first time in Bears history, they've been around for over 100 years. They fired their coach in the middle of the year.
Oh.
Yeah, Eberflus got fired yesterday. I got San Francisco as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago won, but I don't expect it. Tom?
I think Chicago's going to win. Frisco's had problems.
Okay. All right. Chargers at Kansas City. Trojo picks first. Trojo picks Kansas City. Paul?
Kansas City.
I really want to pick the Chargers. But I'm going to pick Kansas City. Yeah, Tom?
Where are they playing?
In Kansas City.
Oh, God. Yeah, KC's still undefeated, aren't they?
No, they lost 1 to Buffalo earlier, but they've
Yeah.
only got 1 loss.
Yeah, give me Kansas City.
If they're undefeated, I'd pick the Chargers because they're not going to finish undefeated. Somebody's going to beat them. Lori?
Kansas City.
All right. This is the interesting game. Paul, you're first.
Yeah.
Cincinnati travels to Dallas to take on the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Who the F puts this game on Monday Night Football? Both of these teams are out of the race for the playoffs. The Cincinnati's got a great offense, but their defense looks like ass. And Dallas just looks like ass. Why is that your Monday night game? Paul, who do you have?
I'm going to take they're in Dallas. I'd like to give the Dallas Cowboys the benefit of the home field advantage, but I'm not sure.
What's Vegas?
Vegas is picking Cincy.
Yeah, but is their quarterback going to be available to play?
Who's quarterback?
Cincinnati's.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's good.
Okay, then I'll take him. I'll take Cincinnati.
All right. I don't know why I keep picking Cincinnati. I do know why. It's because my dad loves LSU and he's a big Joe Burrow fan. I just keep picking him for my dad. But I do think Cincinnati's a better team. Tom?
Yeah, give me Cincinnati.
Lori?
Cowboys.
Georgia picked Dallas as well.
Well, of
All
course
right.
he did.
Double down. Double down. I'm taking Miami in my double down. Tom?
Give me Philly.
All right. Lori, who's your double down? You going to split that double down again?
You know, I'm going to go all in on the Hawks.
All right. Trojo, I have to look up his double down. Paul?
I'm taking my Seattle Seahawks.
Trojo's double down is Pittsburgh, by the way. All right. That's our picks. Done before 11. Perfect.
Hey,
All
by
right.
the way, who did I pick for tomorrow night's game? I can't read my writing.
You picked Denver. Everybody picked Denver tomorrow night except for Trojo.
Donkeys.
Who picked Cleveland. All right. All right. We'll wrap the show on the Facebook side in 2 minutes or less, but just because I always like doing something after the fact. If you're on AM, we'll be back Wednesday at 7 p.m. No K-Dog, no problem. The crew will hold it down. Probably a little below average, but they'll try their hardest. Yeah, that's the plan for Wednesday. I'll be back next Sunday. I'll be here every Sunday. I just won't be here on Wednesdays.
Brownies in the hallway. Y'all forgot.
I didn't forget. I'm
Oh,
gonna.
no, those safe to eat and drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take one on the way home. All right. Yeah, we'll wrap up on AM and just so we have time to get our parting shot. Or we'll wrap up on Facebook so we have time to get our parting shots and get out of here. Yeah, that's what I got. Also, the 22nd, again, just a programming note, no politics show. We're encouraging people to wear their festive holiday attire.
Ugly
Tom
sweater.
knows what I want him to wear. Oh, yeah, Tom. Paul
Me?
loves it when you wear that cutout.
No. Tom has a different outfit.
I may have a different outfit.
Can you wear the other one next week, then, next Sunday?
I'll see if I can find it.
All right, AM, good night. We love you. Facebook, stay there. We'll wrap up with you guys in a
Seen it
second.
in a year.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
.com. .com. No.
Boy, I'm a jerk. I'm a real jerk. And
How do I
can't
be
even-
helpful here?
I can't even say what I said on. I want to share it, but I'm not going to.
What?
No, I can't. I can't.
What? We're
I can't.
streaming.
No, I can't tell you. I can't because it'll give away something that I can't give away just yet. Okay. Anybody have anything to say before we do parting shots?
Yeah, I want to know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, you're a jerk, and I'm like, how can I be supportive here? Do I agree? I disagree? I just want to be supportive.
Just nod. Just nod. All right. Phil, parting shots?
Oh, I don't know. Glad we had a good Thanksgiving and enjoy those leftovers and Christmas music.
You still have leftovers?
Mine are gone.
Yeah,
I
mine
have
are
leftover
gone.
prime rib that I was saving. Yeah. The Madden curse struck again. Christian McCaffrey was on the cover of Madden this year.
Oh.
Yep. Lori, do you have any parting shots?
I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And, if you had some interesting conversations, hopefully they were interesting and not,
Hostile.
yeah, hostile's a good word.
Yeah.
Like a work environment.
Yeah. And, just continue the Christmas cheer or the happiness or whatever. Be a secret Santa. Do something joyful for for yourself or others?
I like it.
Leave it alone. Okay. Tom, parting shots?
Yes. I would invite everyone to come down to Black Ring Spirits, do some
Yes.
Christmas shopping. I'm working like a lunatic to get the shelves restocked. A bunch of my clears are back, so we have some nice vodkas. We have a nice gin. The 6th and 7th, I'll have whiskeys back on the shelf. So, and then right after that, Friday the 13th, we'll have bourbon back on the shelf. So, yeah, come Christmas shop.
Sounds good.
love it.
Do you have anything special for this holiday season?
No, I don't. I try to do that every Christmas, and this year I couldn't. I had some supply chain issues and stuff, and it just didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped. So, this year I'm just going to try to focus on making sure I don't run out of everything.
Fair enough. Paul.
Yes.
Parting shots.
I guess the best thing for everybody. I understand. We all know Kevin will not be here on Wednesdays. Oh my God. But listen, no, I'm very, very serious about this, dude. Let's all take a moment. Kevin is doing some really cool stuff with his church. That's why he won't be here on Wednesdays. But let's all take a moment and pray that by next Sunday he takes that 5 minutes. And
I'm not sure who's taking a shot here, Paul or asking you to take a shot.
If we're lucky, he will have taken at least one shot. Yeah.
Let me just make it clear that I hate you.
Do you need me to buy you a squeegee?
No.
Because you got that really weird toilet and that mirror's like 5 feet away.
This is really getting into TMI territory.
I hate you.
I was trying to get 2 more shades out of Tom. His forehead there. Oh, and whatever you do, don't eat Cheetos first.
Do you have anything else to say, jackass?
Nothing accidentally ends up in your ass.
Why is that funny?
Clearly, Tom is punch drunk.
That's kind of disturbing.
I'll tell you why it's disturbing for Tom right now. Because as soon as I said it, he visualized it.
You jerk.
I will tell you all honestly, I've been sitting on this crap about Kevin for a long time. My first wedding, Kevin looked at my wife and just said, I just want you to know I'm really happy for you guys. But as soon as your wife climaxes on your wedding night, Paul, I want you to know she's going to think of me. I've never forgiven him.
And she admitted later she did.
And
because
this will be this. I will
you
take
try
every
so hard
shot
not
in
to
the
that
known
you
universe.
can't not.
Every shot in the known universe will be launched Kevin's way when he least expects it.
I did do that. That's true. And she admitted it happened. And every once in a while, I would just throw it back at her again too. So I wonder if she thought of me when she was cheating on you too. I wonder if that.
Wow.
Gotta leave that one alone.
Maybe I should ask.
Gotta leave that one alone.
Maybe I should ask. All right. My parting shots are as follows. This will be really geeky, but a week from tomorrow, a new video game is coming out that I'm uber excited to play. Have you heard about this?
Probably not.
I have not.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, or the Indiana Jones and the Circle of Destiny.
Definitely have not.
Harrison Ford is doing the voice on it.
Mm.
Oh, we talked about this
Yeah,
on Wednesday.
I'm really excited
Yeah.
about it. I don't get very excited about video games anymore. I'm a little old for that, but I'm excited about this one. So that'll be fine. Don't get it for me for Christmas because I'm buying it myself on the day it's released.
I don't even have you.
I'm just making that clear.
I don't have
What is our limit for the Christmas gift exchange? We agreed 25?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 25? All right. Perfect. Other than that,
when are we exchanging? On the 22nd?
on the 22nd.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, Andy will be able to be here since she wanted to be a part of it. Hopefully, she can be here on the 22nd.
Okay.
So yeah. It'll be a good time. It'll be fun. We'll unveil the drinking show again. Every time Paul says something negative about Christmas or Christmas songs or Christmas caroling or Christmas presents, you'll take a shot.
Just rub one off before.
Here we go again.
Preferably with Joy to the World in the background.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know who Kevin will be envisioning, but I can just see it. Joy, joy, joy.
I'm really unhappy with you guys. Just so we're clear. Just so
To
we're
the
clear.
world.
I'm really unhappy with you guys. Just to be clear.
Why are you unhappy?
Because you guys.
I mean, shoot for at least 5 minutes.
First, we talked ad nauseum about Daddy.
We didn't bring up Daddy.
We didn't bring up
Nobody here
Daddy.
brought
No,
up
no.
Daddy.
You're the
In
one that
previous
posted
shows,
about Zaddy.
First of all, you can call me Zaddy. That's fine. I am a Zaddy. Remember that. So we beat the Daddy thing into the ground.
Gen Z Cheeky's Daddy.
And now Paul is going to beat into the ground. Me beating it into the ground. And Phil is helping. Aren't you a man of God, Phil?
Not tonight.
In the Bible, it says you're not supposed to masturbate, and yet you're encouraging this conversation.
Oh no, I'm just piling on.
That's what she said. All right. That's it. That's all I have.
Joy to the World could fit with Song of Songs.
I can't help a
it
good
was
pun.
well done. It was well done, Phil. That was well done.
Unlike a good prime rib, which should be what, medium, maybe medium rare.
Medium.
Do you guys all?
Bite
You know,
your tongue.
I'm gonna say you guys can make
Medium
fun of me
for a
for this.
prime rib.
And I understand if you do, but I had never. My wife introduced me, like she made this dish, and she added this pasta dish, and she added arugula to it. And then I thought she was joking, but she was like, adding arugula to this is a real upscale thing, right? She's like, poor people don't put arugula in their pasta salads. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, you got any more rich, snobby bitch stuff that you want to talk about? She's
Wait,
like,
you said this to your wife?
oh yeah. And so
How the fuck are you married?
and quite well. But it's so anyway. So then I
I'm
had
gonna
to
send your
think
wife
back.
a message.
I had to think back. Well, because then she actually taught me.
Message your wife right
I
now.
love prime rib, but you know how I had never eaten prime rib.
Are you married?
I had never eaten prime rib with horseradish.
He is
Wait, what?
Exactly. Apparently, like everybody's known this but me. That's why I
Horseradish
said-
and au jus.
Yeah.
I
So
just sent a
that's why I
message.
said you guys all have the right to make fun of me for this because I
just
had
sent a
no-
message to your wife. It says,
Well, I'd send a
how
message
are you
to your
married
wife,
to
but-
Paul? He is such an idiot. How do you suffer him?
Now, didn't we start the night with something about water and what was it?
I'm just waiting for the response that she gives back.
Kevin
Anyway.
Nelson wants to know if you have a special sock.
Additional parting shot.
Yes, and when I put it in the dryer, it goes ka-lang, ka-lang, ka-lang.
You know,
rinse that out when you're
how to be prepared for the coming struggle, right?
I don't need socks. I have pets.
I hope they're not goats.
Sorry, Phil. What were you saying?
Dude, you know your life sucks when your hand says I have a headache.
Oh,
when it falls
no.
asleep.
Make sure you
okay.
stock
No, you
up.
put your
just-
hand to sleep on purpose. You call it the stranger.
So who posted the dehydrated water? Did you? All right. Good. All right, guys. That's going to wrap up the show. We'll see you Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Well,
I'll be
Kevin
back
won't.
Next,
The
next
rest of us
Sunday at
will.
8 p.m. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Have a great week. Remember that holiday spirit. Don't drive drunk. If you do, you're a fucking moron.
Agreed.
And
if you need
call a
holiday
friend.
spirit, get a Black Ring spirit.
Who's a bigger idiot? People who drive drunk or Dallas Cowboy fans?
People who drive drunk.
Is it a
Oh.
toss
Toss-up.
up? Toss up.
Drunk drivers. I mean, everyone has bad taste once in a while.
And the immortal words of Phil. Good night, bitches.
Good night.